Morocco's king is urging the country's Muslims to ease up on the sheep sacrifices.
With Morocco's sheep herds dwindling at an alarming rate, King Mohammed VI made a rare break with tradition by urging families to forego buying sheep to sacrifice during the upcoming Eid al-Adha. In a letter read on state television Wednesday, he said the tradition could harm families with limited income because sheep have become so expensive. That's because rainfall has plummeted, animal feed prices have spiked, and sheep supply has shrunk. It's the first time Morocco has issued such a decree in nearly 30 years for Eid al-Adha, an annual celebration where Muslims slaughter livestock around the world. Keith Peters reporting.
Lebanon's new prime minister has used a tour of areas near the border with Israel that suffered wide destruction during a 14-month Israel-Hezbollah war to call for an Israeli withdrawal. He's promising residents of border villages a safe return. News and analysis, townhall.com. California residents may lose one method of defending their homes from fire.
If California Democrats in the state legislature have their way, citizens will not be allowed to hire their own firefighters to protect their homes in the future. Democrat lawmakers are teaming up with unions to craft a bill that would ban the use of private firefighters. If passed, the bill would make public fire hydrants off limits for private companies. Unions want to go further. They want private fire crews outlawed entirely in California. Tasha Stevens reporting.
University of Virginia police say a stabbing suspect's in custody and one person is in the hospital. Police on the Charlottesville campus responded to a report of a stabbing yesterday afternoon. They sent out an emergency alert saying a suspect had been spotted and fled on foot. A short time later, police said the suspect was detained and a shelter-in-place order had been lifted. The person hospitalized in critical condition. More on these stories, townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel said, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. Welcome to Mornings with Mike Winters. I am he. That would be me, Mike Winters. Happy Friday. We made it.
Yes, you are correct, sir.
The weather's going to be pleasant.
Oh, fantastic this weekend from the forecast what I'm seeing.
It's just all good this morning, it feels like. A little bit here.
Just get out there and enjoy it. It's kind of like a spring preview.
Yeah. Like we move clocks here in like a week or two, don't we?
I think it's next week?
Is it next weekend?
Let's find out.
I believe it is next weekend.
I have a friend who's like weirdly an almanac for stuff like that, and so he automatically knows.
There's some people that they really follow these things. I kind of just
By the way, it's daylight saving time. I was pointed this out years ago.
No S's.
There's no S at the end of daylight saving time, but on the Google it says daylight savings 2025. It starts March 9th, so that is 1 week from tomorrow.
There we go. So next weekend. So you got 1 week of no daylight saving.
Yes. The evening of AEW Revolution.
That's right.
Is daylight saving time, which this is the spring forward, so we lose an hour.
Yeah.
But we lose an hour. We also gain our sunset back at a decent hour.
Yes.
So
I'll take this time next Sunday, it's 8 in the morning. And 8:07 in the AM.
Yep. So get up. You're late.
Your future.
Yeah, you're future late.
But happy Friday, happy weekend.
Indeed,
Hopefully
happy weekend.
Folks have plans. Of course, there's a lot of little stuff happening around town and things. Weather's going to be relatively nice for the weekend, so getting out and about might be a good thing.
It's the final day of February, a month which zoomed by after the decade that was January.
I will say this. February zoomed by, but the last week of February seems draggish.
The last week of any month always seems draggish, and I think a lot of that comes down to, it's waiting on a payday, waiting on the month to be over, just waiting on the change of the guard, so to speak.
I think my mental place was like already in March, and then I'm like, oh, geez, it's still February?
Yeah.
All right.
That's how I always feel about financial quarters. When they're like, okay, well, we just wrapped Q4. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
It's October. How? So technically, I think we're just beginning Q2, like of the fiscal year.
Electric Boogaloo.
It's so like the fiscal calendar always throws me off. So I just try not to think about it.
That guy fiscal.
That's why I never get fiscal. I avoid fiscality.
Fiscal. I want to get fiscal.
I would much rather talk through a situation than get fiscal.
Let me hear your accountant talk.
Dividends. We're gonna get dividends.
Somebody's going, now you speak of my language. Oh, yeah.
Some finance bro.
Got sexy in the morning. But yes, 'tis Friday. We do have a full plate for you for today's show.
A busy one.
Got a bevy of guests and lots of events coming up. And that's kind of the thing is now that, like, February to me kind of signals we go into March, and now it's like, all right, life gets busy again. Because, right after the new year, we kind of have that little mild funk. Everyone's broke, tax returns, everyone's just kind of, it's cold out. Yeah. Everyone just kind of hunkered down. In February, everyone's like, little paycheck. It's kind of, now they're like, all right, let's get into spring and spend money and go outside and do things.
February is that month where we go, is it safe to go outside yet?
All right.
And then we go outside and, try our luck.
And it's like nice out. And then one day it's like, what happened? It's 2. And then you go back inside.
Yeah.
Yes. So I think, with that means we got bevy. So that means I got a ton of stuff. We got events this weekend. Got a big, of course, concert tomorrow night out at the Pearson Auditorium, which we'll talk about during the show today. Roswell Symphony Orchestra has Sure plays Vaughn Williams, which, of course, it's interesting because we made the ad, or you made the ad and everything, like back in January.
Yeah.
So I feel like we've been talking about this show for a long time.
Yeah, and I had that like loop of music that I used, just going through my head for a good solid day and a half. So yeah,
but it's finally here.
It's gonna be a good one
tomorrow night here, March 1st at the Pearson. If you have not got tickets yet, I believe you can still conjure some up.
Indeed.
What you can do is visit the Symphony Orchestra's website, which is www.roswellsymphony.org. Or you can, maybe want to call, give them a little bit because it's kind of early in the morning.
Yeah, I would wait until about 9.
Get someone to want.
Let somebody grab their coffee first.
Want some tickets? It's 7. 575-623-5882, 575-623-5882, or go to roswellsymphony.org.
There's an episode of Family Guy where Lois falls in love with a kitsch sign that she sees that just says "But First Coffee." And she's like, I love it. It's so funny. And then Peter comes over and is like, really? What if it was our daughter, Lois? What if our daughter was injured? Would we then still have to wait for your caffeine boost? She grabs her arm. She's like, I just thought it was funny.
So you look at him and say, yes.
Yeah. Still, I need my coffee.
The sign says. Yeah. So I'm one of those few weird people on the planet. I host a morning show and I don't like coffee.
My coffee, it comes and goes, my coffee love. When I was keto, I was fanatic over the moon telling everybody about butter coffee, about bulletproof coffee and how great it is. I still think it's fantastic.
Oh, yeah, he was coming in with chubs of butter all the time.
If I wasn't on a regular diet, I'd go back to doing bulletproof coffee because it's a fantastic, way to start the day. But
you don't have to be on a diet to do it.
Yeah, but it's really fattening. Like if you're eating carbs and then you add, it's not great.
It's only good if you're in the whole keto thing.
Healthy fats are really only great if you're, not also carbing it out. And I had 2 toffee before I got here this morning. So, I mean, you do the math.
He's like, I slept in a pillow bed, bread pillow bed.
That's right.
I can't say that fast.
Sleep, bite, sleep, bite. I've had this weird phenomenon lately where I'll like wake up and be doing something with my hand that was going on in my dream. Like I was reaching up for something the other day, and I woke up and I was doing this.
Yeah. That just reminded me. I know this is a bit dated, but the whole pillow of bread, that whole thing. I think whoever was doing some of the Oscar Mayer marketing for a minute there, for like a year there.
Yeah.
I think he was sampling the mushrooms or something before coming up with ideas. A lot of psychedelic, like there's a whole like one where a person is dreaming they're in a sandwich, and they lay in this bed that's literally bread and then the meat and cheese just, and they're like in this bed sandwich.
Well, I think that a lot when I watch Little Caesars commercials, because just randomly like the weirdest things in the world will happen. Like somebody will like take a bite out of a sofa couch and then like fly out, or like even if you look at the Super Bowl commercial, it was Eugene Levy's eyebrows flew off because he was wow, and they just kept going.
That's a little out there. But like I don't know. I just feel like the one is like just a little too on the nose.
If you ever want to see,
you're dreaming of bologna sandwiches and you're sleeping in them. I feel like that's a drug-induced dream.
If you ever want to see the most nightmare-inducing commercial you've ever seen in your entire life, just go to Google or go to YouTube and just type in "Little Baby's Ice Cream."
Oh,
it is disturbing. I'll just give you a quick synopsis. Basically, there's a guy covered in ice cream, black screen background, just a guy covered in vanilla ice cream, and he's staring dead-eyed into the screen, and there's an disembodied voice in the background going, "When you eat Little Baby's ice cream, you shine." And it's like talking about all these great things. While this is happening, the guy has a spoon, and he scoops into the top of his head, and he rips off a piece, and he takes a big bite, and just all while just dead-eyed into the camera, and the music's like, wah, 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 wah.
People are disturbing.
It's awful.
Yeah.
And I still lose sleep over it.
Yeah.
I'll show you after the break.
I'm good. I'm good. You're not going to ruin ice cream for me, by golly.
Oh, no, it didn't ruin ice cream. It just ruined sleep.
I'm not going to ruin that either. I can do that on my own. But y'all need to see a psychiatrist.
I'm just saying, the point is we're still talking about it, which means it was a meaningful ad.
Yeah.
You're still talking about bread pillows, so.
Yeah.
Sandwich beds.
That's true. That's true. I ain't bought no.
That's fair. But what if somebody that in our listening area heard it and is like, ooh, I would love a sandwich I could make a bed out of.
Then God bless you. Enjoy your drugs and your sandwich. And your sandwich.
Mike Winters. So many good t-shirts, t-shirt ideas come out of this show.
I do. I wish one day, just kind of. Yeah, if I could somehow monetize some of the things.
If we could get a screen printer to join forces with our morning show, I think that we have a solid campaign moving forward.
We can make hundreds of dollars doing this.
We could be 100-aires, Mike.
100-aires, easily. All right, let me give you the rundown for today's show. Like I said, we got a full slate of guests and activities for you. We're going to start out with the Roswell High Band here in just a few minutes. Of course, Dr. Gomez will be joining us, band director, along with Dominic Morales and Fernando Rodriguez, two of the band students. They've got their annual event, Noodles and Notes, happening next weekend, March 8th, right before the dawn or the eve of the clock change. Your last meal before the clock change.
Your last meal. Noodles and Notes.
That's right. But yeah, they're having their third annual event with the Roswell High Jazz Band, and of course they'll have the noodles part meal, and also be a lot of fun. But we'll talk about that with them here in just a few. That big concert happening at the Pearson tomorrow night. We're going to have the Roswell Symphony Orchestra join us.
Ooh.
I'm not sure if it'll be Cisco and John or who,
very music-heavy morning.
We do. We are talking a lot of arts this morning.
I like it.
And so we'll talk about the big Shearer Plays Vaughn Williams show tomorrow night at Pearson, and just get the skinny from those guys. And then in the 9 o'clock hour, the music theme ends.
Aw.
But unless Charles plays an instrument. I don't know. I have never asked. I know he's a car guy. I don't know if he knows instruments. But we're going to have Chaves County Sheriff's Department join us. I believe it'll be Charles Eastlis join us.
You know what he does? He plays suspects like a fiddle.
That's right.
That's what he does. To the tune of Justice.
Boys. But yes, so Charles Eastlis, I believe, will be joining us here from the Sheriff's Department. And then, of course, we'll have all of your newses of the local national variety, Wall Street business updates, and all that good stuff. But first, for your listening pleasure, the weather, which is not bad. It's really not bad.
Acceptable.
It's high.
It's high.
High.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Sunshine today, and we're headed for about 70 on the afternoon high. Overnight looks clear, upper 30s, and then we're in the low to mid 70s, fall high on Saturday and sunny. We do have a quick low pressure system moving through the area Saturday night, maybe a shower or two, and we'll drop to about 40 on the low. Back to sunshine on Sunday, and we'll hit the mid 70s. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 36 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 55%. Winds are calm at the moment. Like I said, pretty nice this weekend. Sunny and 72 for today. Winds will be out of the south at around 5 miles per hour. Tonight, looking at partly cloudy skies. Overnight low of 37 degrees. South winds at around 5 miles per hour. Saturday, sunny, 74 for a high tomorrow. Winds will be out of the north, 5 to 10. They'll later shift to the south Saturday afternoon. Tomorrow night, we're looking at clear skies with an overnight low of 43 degrees. South winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. For Sunday, warmer but getting breezy to windy. They use the term breezy. I'd like to go with windy myself, but you judge for yourself. Sunny and 78 for high on Sunday. Southwest winds early 10 to 15 miles per hour, but winds will pick up 20 to 25 miles per hour by Sunday afternoon. I call 25 windy, but you call it whatever you want. It sprinkles all over again. Mostly clear Sunday night with an overnight low of 39 degrees. And then Monday when you head back to work and school and all that, warm but windy, patchy blowing dust for the afternoon, but sunny with a high of 78. All right, it is 7:20. We're going to take a 2-minute break, and then we'll talk with the Roswell High Band and talking noodles and notes. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
What made Roswell Hyundai the #1 used car dealership in southeastern New Mexico for 2023? Great selection, great savings, and great people. Roswell Hyundai has an amazing selection of makes, models, and model years to choose from. If you can't find it, Roswell Hyundai can get it. And Roswell Hyundai will take any trade. The experts at Roswell Hyundai will work with you to get you behind the wheel of your next dream ride. So, what makes Roswell Hyundai the #1 used car dealership in southeastern New Mexico? You do! Come check out the Used Car Supercenter only at Roswell Hyundai, 1909 West 2nd.
Get ready to boogie at the Spencer Theater for the Performing Arts. On Saturday, March 15th at 7 p.m., experience When Disco Was King, featuring the Kings of Disco, all former members of the world-famous Village People. Dance the night away to hits from legends like the Bee Gees, Donna Summer, and Earth, Wind & Fire. Get your tickets today by visiting spencertheater.com or by calling the box office at 575-336-4800. We'll see you at the Spencer.
When the temple was completed, King Solomon dedicated the temple in prayer to God. In this prayer, his God-given wisdom shined through. He started by stating the supremacy of God, praising his love for the people and for keeping his promises. He also made requests, but they were requests centered in the will of God, not his own personal will. Solomon understood that God was too big for the temple, but he still asked for him to always keep his eyes on his people and hear their prayers. Solomon also knows that even with all the blessings that God has bestowed on his people, the people will sin. Solomon prays that when the people turn back to God, that he forgives them, and that they again enjoy the blessings that come with God's favor. He also asks that God hear the prayer of the foreigner, so that all may know God and understand his ways. What a great pattern of prayer for all of us to learn. To do these things: praise God, know he's supreme, ask him to be with us, ask for forgiveness, and ask that others know God as well.
Join us at the Country Club Road Church of Christ for worship at 10 a.m. on Sunday, located on the corner of Country Club and Washington in Roswell.
The octopus and the squid both have 3 hearts. That's why they eat so many Tums. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 22 minutes after 7 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning from the Roswell High Band, of course, we have Dr. Gomez with us this morning. Good morning, sir. How are you doing today?
Good morning. Doing well, thank you.
Good deal. And then we also have two of the band members here, Dominic Morales and Fernando Rodriguez. Good morning, guys.
Morning. Good morning.
Happy Friday. Did you get to sleep in, or did you have to get up early for this?
Early.
Oh, sorry about that. Sorry, it's a Friday, but do you get to cut out a little early, maybe? Can you make up for it on the back end?
Yeah, I get out of school every day early, so.
Then when are you complaining? Exactly. You can get up a little bit early. It won't hurt you. Well, good morning, guys. Thank you for joining us here. And, of course, for folks not familiar, this is one of the big events, fundraising events.
Yes.
Now, this one's specifically for the jazz band and the mariachi band. This doesn't necessarily, I mean, the whole band may be involved with it, but this is a fundraising event for the jazz band and for the mariachi band.
Yes,
portion
sir.
of the band, right?
Right, yes. Yeah.
Good deal.
Yeah.
So, and this is their annual event. This is our third annual one, and it's hard to believe it's been, I kind of remember the first time we had the band coming in and talking about the noodles and everything. It's like, yeah, we're going to give this a try and see if it works, and yes, it did, because here we are 3 years later. So, well, we'll let you guys talk. Talk about, I can tell them, but I'll let you tell everybody what Noodles and Notes the event is. Talk all about what you guys are going to be doing next Saturday.
So it's comprised of, this year we're going to have our two jazz bands, so Jazz 1 and Jazz 2 performing 4 songs each, I think.
Okay.
And then is the mariachi playing?
Mariachi's doing a pre-dinner performance this year.
So they're going to be like your ambiance music, kind of setting the tone for the night while people mingle and have a beverage or two. They're kind of chatting and some mariachi in the background.
That's right, yes, sir.
And then we'll hit with the jazz a little bit later in the evening. Cool. So do you guys do you get to spend the night playing?
Yes.
Serving, eating, or all of the above?
They feed us right before, and then we get to go on and perform.
Gotcha. Okay, I didn't know you had to. Because I imagine too, because it's a fundraiser, so some folks are probably like helping with the dinner side of things, and because is it like the noodles part? Is it spaghetti? Is that the?
Yes.
Yeah, very good. I know. He's like, no, we go linguine with it. But so I'm guessing there's some side they're cooking the spaghetti and doing all that stuff. So you get to play. Do you like to cook? Either one of you?
Yeah.
Good. Are you going to get to play, or are you cooking?
Yeah, I'm playing.
Nice. Okay. But what's your favorite? All right, I got to ask. Like, what's your ideal night? Playing music, cooking, or I'm not going to make you pick just for a second. I guess it depends if you're hungry or not, right?
Yeah.
So let me ask, favorite thing to cook? Like if you all right, if you're trying to say, all right, I'm going to try and impress somebody with a meal I can cook, what would that meal be? It's a deep question.
Yeah.
Or at least give me like what you lean towards. You don't have to maybe narrow it down to one, but what direction would you go?
Probably like some enchiladas.
Okay, so go Mexican.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, Mexicans that's going to get them. Very good. All right. Do you like to cook at all, or you're like, nah, just eat?
Nah, just eat.
Nice. What do you do outside of music? Do you have other?
Outside of music, not. I mean, I'm just focused on that right now.
That's your big thing.
Yeah.
Good deal. Now, is all of your musical in the jazz band and all this, or do you do outside stuff? Like, do you have your own maybe rock band or something outside of this?
Me and my other two friends try and play we try and learn other songs outside of it, but other than that, not really.
Gotcha. But I think that's important though too. I'm sure Doctor here would tell you, but when it's kind of when you do it outside on your own and all that, and have that love of music. But I also think to know and study and understand different genres of music is important. Like you guys are doing jazz or mariachi and things like that. I'm going to take a stab that's probably not your first choice in music you grew up. Most kids aren't, jazz, baby. They're, one rap or hip hop or
it takes time,
rock or something. Yeah, jazz, it's a little deeper than I thought it was. You know? So, but I think that's kind of neat that I'm going to take a stab that you're playing jazz music kind of gives you a greater appreciation for other music. Is that pretty fair statement? That probably same for you as well, too, right? So what instruments do you guys play?
I play bari sax.
Baritone sax, okay.
And I play a trombone and a trumpet.
Ooh. you have long arms?
Not really.
I'm just saying, I remember trombone, you gotta have a little, gotta some reach. I remember when I was in elementary school, it was a few years ago, folks. They were trying to get kids to join band, and so they bribe us with like king size Snicker bars. Like, hey, if you join the band and play, because they needed trombone players, they'd like bribe you with a Snicker bar. But the problem was, you'd be like, well, I'm sorry, you can't hit any notes past here. You got to get, and of course, when you're like in fifth grade, you don't have the wingspan you do when you're a little bit older. So, of your instruments, do you have a favorite one you prefer?
The trombone.
Trombone?
Yes.
Oh, what's the most? It draws more attention.
Yeah.
When that comes in the room, people tend to notice. Certain instruments, you come in with a stand-up bass, people tend to notice that. Trombone, even a baritone sax, that's a little bit, that's a little more hefty than it kind of looks like a steroided up sax. So it's kind of got some juice too. Now, how long have you guys been playing?
7 years.
7 years for you?
I think 7 years too.
7 years as well. Are you guys about the same age?
Yes. We're in the same grade.
Nice. Seniors, juniors?
Yes, seniors.
Nice. So, with life's high school career is about done here. What have you thought a little bit about life after high school?
College for me, either at State or Eastern.
Okay. Do you want to pursue music while you're in college? Okay. How about for you?
Planning on going to ENMR.
Okay. Do you want to keep pursuing music as at least side gig?
Yeah, side gig.
I mean, maybe not your main. Like, what do you want to study in school?
I want to do a major in midwife nurse and a minor in teaching.
Okay. Nice. You're going to have your hands full. Yeah. Between teaching and then birthing kids on the side, and then it's like, oh, by the way, we got band meet practice on the weekend too. That's a busy schedule for you. How about for you? What are your what do you want to study?
Music in college, just because that's what I want to do.
So like is your goal to be like Dr. Gomez, or is your goal to be like in an orchestra, or to be like what's your end game? What do you envision as your dream?
I haven't fully decided yet, but
or do you want to be like the next whoever star, artist?
I am gonna do probably music education just because that's ultimately where it ends up. But the performance side, I just want to do everything I can.
Gotcha. So you're like, whatever. I'll show up at your bar. I'll show up.
Yeah, pretty much. That's the life.
At your friend's house, we'll play whatever. Wherever we can play some music, I want to do that too. Do you is it always sax do you play, or do you break out into other instruments too?
I'm gonna learn piano, and then I want to get really good at the marimba.
Okay. Yeah, you're not even picking I want to learn guitar. He's like, I want to learn the marimba. People are like, is that the thing that runs around the house cleaning? No, that's something. But that's cool. That's really cool that you guys have, and I hope. Next thing you know, who knows? Of course, she's going to be busy teaching and bringing kids into the world and doing all kinds of stuff over here. But next Saturday is the 3rd. Now, if you haven't been to Noodles and Notes, then make this year the first opportunity. Yes. Of course, like you said, we're going to have both jazz bands performing. The mariachi band. You're going to have a whole night of entertainment and music, and then, by the way, some delicious spaghetti.
That's right,
and all that good stuff. Now. It's next Saturday, March 8th, and where are you guys having the event at?
It is at the Roswell High School Commons.
Okay.
First, we'll start in the little theater with the mariachi,
which is kind of right by the main entrance.
Yeah,
if you're not familiar with the campus there.
Yes, sir.
Matter of fact, I think you can usually you can go right into the little theater directly. I think there's a side door there. You don't even have to go through the front door there. But and then of course they'll have a mocktail hour, just kind of a mingle hour. Beginning at 5:30, and then the dinner and the show and all that will start at 6:30. And now tickets are still available. I'm assuming we want to get folks in here, but you're probably running out of time to get we're a week out here.
Yeah. So people can contact me. My office number is 3443 at Roswell High School.
Okay.
Or my email, DA Gomez, and then the long RISD.
Okay. And if you use Facebook, I know if you look at if you type in RHS Band or anything remotely similar to that, you'll see the flyer for those watching on the camera here.
Yeah.
And that's got all the contact information. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure that Facebook post you see it on, you could probably
Yes.
say, hey, can I get 2 tickets? And someone say, yes, you can.
Yep,
Give me,
absolutely.
give me your contact information.
That's
We'll get
right.
that done here. But what we love to have is, get as many people here as possible. Now, tickets are only $25 for an individual. If you want to get a table, are there some tables available still, or are they filled?
No, they are not. Those are all full.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. So it's just individual at this
Yes.
point. But the early bird gets the worm.
That's right.
So, but you can get $25, and of course you got to go too, because you got to bring it.
That's right. Yes.
That's kind of it. This is I would say this is a date night like event. I mean, it's gonna be jazz music, and jazz is, there's a little romance in jazz. It is. It just has it. It's got that romantic stank on it. You can't help it. It's just gonna infuse out there. So, but come on out and have some fun, and then of course meet the band. How many's in the jazz band? And for like, I'm gonna say jazz 1 and 2 is that I'm gonna guess like the skill levels, like more intro in 2, and then the more experienced are in 1. But how big are those jazz bands?
Our first jazz band has about 18, 20 students. Our second jazz band has quite a bit more, 25, 28.
Okay.
So and it's a mix of all instruments.
So it's almost like a jazz orchestra.
Exactly.
I mean, it really. Because you think of jazz band, you think of like maybe a 3 or 4 piece kind of deal, and it's in some lounge and kind of dark, and that's jazz. But when you get to that level of horns and instruments, that's like a big orchestra. So
yes,
you could even get a little, like, I feel like that's where you can go a little more, even like New Orleans-esque, that Creole kind of jazz style, more of that upbeat kind of thing. Because that's the other thing. What about, do you guys like for you guys in playing? What's like, do you? Like what's kind of like, what's the parts? Because I know as musicians you listen and there's notes, there's sounds, and you're just like, oh dang, that gets the hair going kind of thing. What's kind of what's like in jazz? Is there certain parts, things that kind of you're just playing, you're like, oh, that's smooth as butter.
Yeah, there's definitely some things like that. Like for me, it's always the funk tunes.
Okay,
like, those are always
you can't go wrong with a good funk tune.
Yeah, but the Latin tunes and the swing tunes are always classic as well. So.
Nice. What about for you? What's kind of makes you kind of make the hair stand up?
I feel like it's more like whenever it's like interesting, like the part, because mostly like I usually only have like parts where it's like whole notes, half notes, and then whenever it has like 8 notes or you do glizzes and like oh wow.
So when it gets a little more probably complex for you, or kind of. Because it's kind of like where you play, it's kind of like I got to keep the pace kind of thing.
Yeah.
But when I get out of keeping the pace and I get to be more in front and center, that's kind of, that's where I'm like, all right, that's cool. Yeah. And that's the kind of thing with band. Sometimes you're the shining star. Sometimes you're the one pushing the shining star. And that's how it kind of works sometimes. Then sometimes it's your time to be the shining star. That's kind of thing. But that's really cool that you guys get to do it. Now, are you guys both in the Jazz 1?
Yes.
Very cool. So I'm curious. After high school and stuff, do you want to keep playing jazz? You want to keep that in the repertoire for you? Like, did you have any jazz experience before joining jazz band?
No.
Like, did you know anything about it, or other than I've seen it on TV, I've seen it in movies or whatever, but I never really paid much attention to it, kind of thing.
Yeah, my first experience was in 7th grade whenever I joined the jazz band in Sierra, whenever he was back there.
Yeah. Well, and the thing you don't realize is that kind of music, it all begats the other stuff. Like, when you look at like you can't have rock and roll or country or any of that stuff without the jazz. You know what I mean? And that's kind of, and as musicians, you learn that, and that's where I think you guys will get the appreciation. Like, I'm really into hip hop, or I'm really into whatever it is, but I understand without what I like, I couldn't have had this. You understand the history. And I think, what I love about you guys is you're doing it, especially in a world where computers and technology really, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but it allows a platform for people that aren't necessarily putting in the work to be musicians, if that makes sense.
Yes.
If you can be a computer programmer, in theory, you can put out music in this world. And I'm like, yeah, but is it going to be good music if you don't understand the process? The meat of it, why these 2 notes together sound the way they sound, and all that kind of stuff. And you guys are learning that stuff and understand it. So I think whatever you do, like if yourself, you're going to create music and maybe put it out in the world, I think you're going to have a much better ability to go get creative, because you understand how it's like science. You want to create rockets, you got to know the formulas, you got to know what it takes to do it, and you know all that in music, and that's going to serve you well. Not even in music, you're going to find out in life too. You're going to be certain aspects in life, certain things that you guys are going to come across, and next thing you know, you're like, oh yeah, it's kind of like in band when we did that thing and all this. And trust me, as a guy in his 50s, I have those moments all the time. They're going to hit you. Trust me. Yeah. Might not be for another 10 years or so, but they will hit you. Yes, they will. But I'm getting off track here. Come on out next Saturday. It's Noodles and Notes. It is the 3rd annual event. It's going to be happening at Roswell High here. 5:30 is kind of the pre-mocktail hour. Dinner and everything will start at 6:30. And then get your tickets now. Do not wait until the 8th. I'm going to guess probably tickets won't be available at the door.
We'll have a few tickets at the door.
If availability is there. Yeah. So don't, and like I said, if tables are already sold out, so we can't even do that. It's all individual tickets at this point. But you can, like I said, for ticket information, you can email events at rhsbandboosters.org. Look on Facebook, look for the flyer, yes. RHS Band, anything like that on Facebook, and someone will get a hold of you to get you tickets and get you what you need.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Excellent. So I will give you guys anything you guys want to say. Anybody you want to say hi to? Any friends, family?
Right now, all their bandmates are in class.
They're studying. Ready. Did you get out of work this morning?
I think it was the beginners this morning.
Yeah, they're with me every morning.
Oh, so you weren't going to be doing a whole lot right now anyway. In there, looking important. I get it. Yeah. But anybody want to say hi to? Friends, family, anybody?
Julian, Furman. I don't know if they're listening, but those guys, those are my other 2 buddies.
Okay. Anybody want to say hi to?
My sister, my mom, my dad, my brother.
Nice. I meant to ask you, do your family musicians? Do you guys come from musical families?
Yes.
No, just you, huh?
My siblings aren't in music, but I'm the oldest.
But no one above you?
No.
Like no moms, dads, or uncles, or anybody like that? Or nice. But you come from...
Just from my older brother.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was there like a grandmas or some
No.
uncles or aunts or something that were closeted? You never know. Sometimes you'll find out. You'll be like years later, I know grandma played, grandma she loved the piano. I didn't, sometimes you don't find out till like years later, and you're like, yeah, they gave it all up for you. And you're like, oh. But you'll be surprised every once in a while you find out. And again, folks, come on out. Do you guys have a like a moment of shining next Saturday? You want to, hey, look for me.
Yeah.
All right. What part of that?
I'm going to be in a mariachi band, so.
Okay, so look for you on the mariachi side. Are you going to be doing double duty, mariachi and jazz? Nice. Very good. So you're going to be busy.
Yeah.
Of course, this now makes sense. You want to be a midwife. You want to be you want like 37 jobs. Now it makes sense here. So you just like to be busy.
Yeah.
Very good. But look for you on the mariachi side.
Yes.
For some of your. What about?
I'm just in jazz 1. You'll kind of hard to miss the big berry on the end. So.
Yeah. You kind of your instrument draws attention. But come on out when you hear that deep dulcet tone and that kind of that gets you. That's where you get down to Barry White level down there with that bass and that sax and stuff. So that kind of makes sense. You're into the funk too. So I will never forget. I'm some Tom Ramble, but I got to because when I was probably about your age, actually, that was a very time where these and of course internet wasn't what you're knowing today and all that. They used to put out like these CD compilations or record compilations, and there was all different ones and these different commercials. And one was like they called Freedom Rock, and it was like all the 60s, and they dressed up like hippies, like, hey man, it's Freedom Rock, and they did these goofy commercials. Well, one of them was for Pure Funk, and that was a diamond. If you can dig this album up, I know you guys get music different, but if you can procure the Pure Funk, and it's probably all songs you know, but it's really a hit from everything from Coolio to Brick House to all the kind of those 70s era songs. It's all on one CD, and that was kind of a big deal in our time. I know nowadays it isn't, but Pure Funk, I think you'd be a fan.
Got it.
Doctors, anything we wanted to mention that we failed to cover or just forget about here before we go?
No, not at all. But come out, support the kids. This is all about them and the hours and the practice and the time that they've put in, and their parents and their families, because everyone makes a sacrifice.
Well,
for them.
and this is the thing too that I always appreciate. And this is all band, whether it's marching band or whatever band it is. It doesn't matter. The boosters really keep this thing going, and so supporting the boosters, coming out to support events like this keeps the programs going. This is what really, unfortunately, in the big pool of money and who gets money for extracurricular things and all of that, it's just the world we live in. Things like band don't get the money. Football, things that, it's true on every level.
Yes.
They ain't giving out bazillion-dollar scholarships for band like they are for football. That's just the world we live in. That being said, it really takes you guys to keep this band going. It's you guys out here literally playing spaghetti, doing this stuff, or, the events like, going through neighborhoods, marching and like the marching band does, or out tailgating at the football games and things like that. By you supporting these events, that's how you support the band. And of course, coming out and doing all this stuff.
Yes.
So, and it needs it more so just because now it does, you guys do get some school funding, some school help, but not really. A lot of it's by the boosters, by you guys yourselves, generating the money, sitting out on weekends, doing fundraising events and things like this. Just you guys can go to competition, or just so you can guys go to a performance event or something like that. This is so by coming out and having a pound of spaghetti and enjoying enjoying some great music next Saturday night at Roswell High, you're supporting the music, the arts, and the next generation of artists and leaders in our community. So
yes, sir.
Come on, have some fun. Listen to some jazz, and not all the jazz is gonna be sexy. We'll get a little upbeat. If you're looking, it's like, no, I don't want to get all. I just want to come. But if you like a little New Orleans, we'll get you a little Creole in you too.
That's right.
Good. Guys, did we get it all?
Yeah, sounds good to me. Great, yes.
I can say break a leg, right? Does that count music? Or
that does.
Just acting?
Yes, it
okay,
does.
I didn't know if that counts into the music world or just acting. So break a leg, and we can't wait to see you next time. And who knows? We might be seeing maybe you on the cover. And next thing you know, he's sitting there. I don't know in my head, it's just like Yanni, but Dominic, the sex. And then I see you with a picture and here's Fernanda, and then there's like 12 kids. It's like, she just brought these into the world last week. And there's like this whole schoolhouse of kids right there. So, pictures, all great things. But thank you guys.
Yes, thank you.
And we'll see you next time. And see you next Saturday.
Yes, sir.
All right, it is 7:45. Let us pause for news, your Kim Commando update, quick break, Chaves County sports, and some other stuff. Don't go away.
Now for your Pecos Valley news update, I'm Jared Sorello. A groundbreaking ceremony marking the beginning of construction of the grandstands for spectators of the upcoming National Championship Air Races and Air Show was held on Wednesday at the Roswell Air Center. Officials from the city of Roswell, Chaves County, and other local entities, along with NCAR representatives, took part in the ceremony. The grandstands will seat about 10,000 people for the National Championship Air Races and Air Show that's scheduled to make its Roswell Air Center debut in September. The latest oil and gas lease sale in Eddy County brought in more than $20 million as the federal government aims to increase fossil fuel production throughout the country. The lease sale was held by the BLM, offering parcels in New Mexico's southeast corner amid the Permian Basin oil fields. The Permian Basin is said to be the most productive oil and gas basin in the entire U.S. All 7 of the offered parcels were bid on and set to be leased, totaling about 1,317 acres in Eddy and Lee counties. You're up to date. I'm Jared Sorello.
Got a text saying you owe money for unpaid tolls? I did, which is weird, considering I don't live anywhere near a toll road. I'm Kim Commando for Endpoint Lock. Stop keyloggers in their tracks with Endpoint Lock. Go to endpointlock.com/Kim for 10% off. Yeah, the scam is back, hitting inboxes across the U.S. Scammers blast out texts pretending to be real toll services. If you're in New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and others, they claim to be Easy Pass. California, Fast Track. The text says you owe money and includes a link to pay. Maybe you recently drove through a toll and forgot. You don't want a fine or a suspended license, so you click. You land on a near-perfect clone of their real toll services site. Everything looks legit. You pay, except the money goes straight to scammers. Want to shut the scam down? Don't click the link. Check your toll services site yourself if you want. Scammers count on you reacting before thinking. Slow down. Outsmart them. Always stay tech ahead with my free newsletter. Sign up at getkim.com. I'm always looking for ways to keep you safe on your devices. Did you know that there's malware out there that records every single thing that you type? It's called a keylogger, and it's one of the sneakiest ways that hackers steal passwords, credit card numbers, and private info. Scary, right? That's where Endpoint Lock comes in. Think of it like a secret vault for your keyboard. It encrypts or scrambles every keystroke that you type. Even if a hacker is trying to spy on you, all they'll see is uncrackable gibberish. It works quietly in the background on your devices, protecting you every time you log into your bank, shop online, or send a private email. Keyloggers are more common than you might think, but with Endpoint Lock, they don't stand a chance. Go to endpointlock.com/Kim. They're offering an exclusive deal just for my listeners. Get 10% off a monthly or yearly subscription using code KIM10. That's endpointlock.com/Kim. Using code KIM10 for 10% off a monthly or a yearly plan. Endpointlock.com/Kim. Endpointlock.com/Kim.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Sunshine today, and we're headed for about 70 on the afternoon high. Overnight looks clear, upper 30s, and then we're in the low to mid 70s for the high on Saturday and sunny. We do have a quick low pressure system moving through the area Saturday night, maybe a shower or two, and we'll drop to about 40 on the low. Back to sunshine on Sunday, and we'll hit the mid 70s. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
It's time for the Chaves County Sports Report. Got some district basketball tournament game results to give you from last night, and it was a good night for the Roswell Coyotes. The Coyotes blast Carlsbad at home by a score of 86-45. Roswell moves to 22-6 on the season. Carlsbad 17-11. It's the third time they play. Roswell won by 3 the first time. That was on January 31st. 2 weeks later, they won by 11, and now 2 weeks later, they walloped the Cavemen. Roswell plays at Hobbs for the district championship this weekend. Meanwhile, NMMI defeats Ruidoso at home 41-29. The Colts 16-11 will be at Tularosa on Saturday night at 6 o'clock to decide the district championship. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell's Talk FM 106.5.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bernie Bennett. A grassroots organization is encouraging U.S. residents not to spend any money on Friday.
24 hours of spending abstinence and economic blackout, a term that has been shared and debated on social media.
That's Lisa Dwyer reporting. The People's Union USA describes it as an act of economic resistance. Mortgage rates fell again on Thursday.
Mortgage buyer Freddie Mac says the average rate on a 30-year mortgage fell this week to 6.76%. This is the sixth weekly decline.
Alex Vega reporting the average rate fell 6.76% from 6.85% last week. The S&P 500 sank 1.6% for its fifth drop in 6 days. The Dow fell 0.4%, and the Nasdaq tumbled 2.8%. NVIDIA and other high-momentum AI stocks weighed heavily on the market Thursday as Wall Street's biggest stars keep dimming. For the Wall Street Business Report, Bernie Bennett, Washington.
Injury, surgery, or illness can set you back, but you don't have to recover alone. At Artesia General Hospital, our rehabilitation services team provides physical, occupational, and speech therapy to help you regain strength, mobility, and confidence. Take the next step toward recovery. Call 575-736-8174 today to schedule an appointment and get back to living life to the fullest.
When the temple was completed, King Solomon dedicated the temple in prayer to God. In this prayer, his God-given wisdom shined through. He started by stating the supremacy of God, praising his love for the people and for keeping his promises. He also made requests, but they were requests centered in the will of God, not his own personal will. Solomon understood that God was too big for the temple, but he still asked for him to always keep his eyes on his people and hear their prayers. Solomon also knows that even with all the blessings that God has bestowed on his people, the people will sin. Solomon prays that when the people turn back to God, that he forgives them, and that they again enjoy the blessings that come with God's favor. He also asks that God hear the prayer of the foreigner, so that all may know God and understand his ways. What a great pattern of prayer for all of us to learn. To do these things: praise God, know he's supreme, ask him to be with us, ask for forgiveness, and ask that others know God as well.
Join us at the Country Club Road Church of Christ for worship at 10 a.m. on Sunday, located on the corner of Country Club and Washington in Roswell.
Great news, Roswell! Your friends at Roswell Ford have the best relationship advice ever. Break up and do it right now. Really? Yes, break up with your old beater and upgrade for a less during Ford Truck Month at Roswell Ford. Right now, everybody gets friends and family pricing on all new and quality pre-owned vehicles with up to $8,000 off MSRP on new Fords with 0 down, 0% APR for 72 months, and no payments for 90 days. Plus, we have a great selection of low-mileage, one-owner pre-owned vehicles in prime condition starting at just $10,000. Making payments on your current car, truck, or SUV and want out early? Roswell Ford wants to terminate your current lease or loan, even if you owe thousands more than it's worth. And our aggressive lenders will push to approve your credit, even if your credit is less than perfect. Huge savings, more for your trade, and a better buying experience. Get on board at Roswell Ford, 821 North Main Street in beautiful Roswell, or online at roswellford.com. 0 APR is $13.89 per thousand financed. Interest accrues from date of sale on select vehicles. Trade balance refinanced to new loan. Subject to lender approval. Offers not combined.
Get ready, Artesia. The main event car show and cruise is rolling into town Friday, March 28th and Saturday, March 29th, 2025. Friday night, we're kicking things off at 6 p.m. with the Main Street Cruise. Watch as classic cars, hot rods, and muscle cars take over Main Street, cruising by the decade. It's a moving history lesson with a whole lot more horsepower. Then Saturday from 9 to 3, downtown Artesia transforms into the ultimate car lover's paradise. Cars, trucks, motorcycles, bikes, even tractors. It's free family fun with music, friendly competition, and more. Want in on the action? Register your ride at artesiachamber.com or stop by 107 North 1st Street in Artesia. The main event car show and cruise, March 28th and 29th in downtown Artesia. Brought to you by the Artesia Car Enthusiasts, Artesia Chamber, and Artesia Main Street. Paid for by Artesia Luggage Tax.
If you're missing a tooth or several teeth, a dental implant may be the ultimate solution. Implants look and feel so much like real teeth that you probably forget you have an implant. Maupin & Brown Dentistry is one of New Mexico's most experienced implant providers, with literally thousands of implant patients who are absolutely delighted with the results. Call Maupin & Brown today for an evaluation. You'll be surprised how affordable implants can be. Maupin & Brown, your choice for experienced, state-of-the-art dentistry.
This is the time of year we can get all 4 seasons in just one day. Hi, this is Ben Manette from Roswell Seed Company. 1 minute you're sweating in the sun, the next minute you've got slush in your shoes. But that's winter in Roswell, and after 127 years, we're starting to get used to it. It's too early to plant very much, but you can fertilize pecan trees, spray for dandelions, order your bees, and pick up a new seed catalog. So come see us at Roswell Seed. Like Jim Gill would say, enjoy the warm days, but don't go far from the fire.
Maybe your AC unit needs a little tender loving care. If you don't know where to turn, then you don't know Jack. In fact, they're downright funky. Let the boys at Fergie's Plumbing and Heating get your AC unit ice cold, just like some of my lady friends. Don't let any fool make you lose your cool. Fergie's Plumbing and Heating. If you don't know Fergie, then you don't know Jack. 632-2660.
The Roswell Symphony Orchestra presents Shearer Plays Vaughn Williams, Saturday, March 1st at Pearson Auditorium, featuring Dr. Jim Shearer, professor of tuba at New Mexico State University, in the Vaughn Williams Concerto for Tuba and Orchestra, plus Beethoven's 7th Symphony, along with works by Barber, Sibelius, and Mozart. Get tickets and more information at roswellsymphony.org or by calling 575-623-5882. Shearer Plays Vaughn Williams, Saturday, March 1st at Pearson Auditorium in Roswell. Sponsored in part by Dr. John and Ms. Deanne Kaysen and the Roswell Lodgers Tax.
The 2024-25 junior college basketball season is drawing to a close, but you still have 2 opportunities to see your NMMI Broncos this season. Monday, New Mexico Junior College pays a visit to Cahoon Armory in a battle of New Mexico junior colleges. And on Thursday, the season concludes with Western Texas College. Tip-off Monday is 7 p.m., Thursday, 6:30 p.m. Come watch your NMMI Bronco basketball team one last time this season. Your support is greatly appreciated.
The tool used to measure your feet at the shoe store is called a Brannock device. The person that measures your feet at home for no reason is called a creep with a foot fetish. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is closing in on 7:58. Like I said, stay tuned next hour. About 8:15 or so, we'll have the folks in the Roswell Symphony Orchestra join us, talking about their big show tomorrow night at the Pearson Auditorium. Shearer plays Vaughn Williams. That's going to be a great show. Like I said, we've been talking about it for so long. It's finally here. It's this Saturday night, and it's going to be happening at the Pearson. You can get your tickets right now online at www.roswellsymphony.org, or you can also call 575-623-5882. But it's going to be a big show, another great concert with the Roswell Symphony Orchestra tomorrow night. We'll talk all about that with the folks next hour. Don't forget, also, in case you're just tuning in, I do want you guys to help out here. We had interviewed some of the students from the Roswell Jazz Band earlier this hour, and if you just missed it, they got their big annual Noodles and Notes event next Saturday at Roswell High there. Get your tickets online. You can email, actually, events@rhsbandboosters.org, or look for them on Facebook. Look for their thing and get tickets. $25 per ticket, and they're going to have a night of jazz and mariachi, and because they'll be doing mariachi band, we'll be doing kind of the mocktail hour music and some of that, and then during the meal and all that, the jazz bands 1 and 2 will be performing. So, and then you get to dine on delicious spaghetti and have a great night and help out the band boosters. So that would be a great thing if you can help out next week. And go check out the interview if you missed it earlier this hour. All right, it is closing in on 8 o'clock. Town Hall News up next. We'll be back on the other side. Don't go away.
The great one, Mark Levin, is now in Roswell on 106.5 KEND Roswell.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Government's latest inflation report just out this morning. Inflation edging 1/10 of a point lower last month compared to December. 2.5% in January, getting closer to the Fed's 2% target rate. At the same time, consumer spending fell 0.2% last month from December. Ukrainian President Zelensky is in Washington today for a critical meeting with President Trump.
The meeting comes as the Trump administration is pushing for an end to Russia's war in Ukraine.
I think we've come a long way. I believe we're going to get it done.
Yesterday, the president twice downplayed any animosity toward Zelensky, even though he previously called the Ukrainian leader a dictator.
We're going to get along really well.
Zelensky comes to Washington seeking security guarantees from the U.S. Greg Clugston, the White House.
Zelensky is also expected to sign a profit-sharing agreement granting the U.S. long-term access to mine and develop Ukraine's substantial rare earth mineral resources. President Trump says it's a win-win for both countries. And the president's defending his aggressive imposition of tariffs on American trading partners.
We're going to bring our car industry back. We're going to bring our chips back. We're going to bring so many things back to our country, including pharmaceuticals and drugs. And the thing that's going to get us there is tariffs.
While ruling that the Trump administration's firing of probationary federal workers was probably illegal, a San Francisco federal judge has not ordered the reinstatement of the thousands who have been let go, nor did he specifically block future firings. The death of an unvaccinated child in West Texas. It is the first confirmed measles death in the U.S. in a decade. On Wall Street this hour, stocks are mixed. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is up 86 points. The NASDAQ Composite Index down 33 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Here's an important message from the Diabetes Solution Center. Do you like pricking your fingers to test your blood sugar levels? No one does, but it's important to maintain your health. And now, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you don't need to prick your fingers anymore. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now. And if you have Medicare or most major insurance coverage, you may be able to get a new CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. Shipping is free, and we'll even bill your insurance company for you. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn how to end the painful finger sticks and get your own continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
Drills close to Australia's coast, forcing dozens of commercial flights to change course. The BBC's Phil Mercer in Sydney.
Australian defence officials have said they first found out about China's live firing exercises from a pilot in a commercial jet. 3 Chinese warships had carried out the drills underneath a busy flight path, halfway between Australia and New Zealand. Both countries have complained about a lack of notice. But China's ambassador to Australia, Xiao Chen, has insisted the military manoeuvres followed normal practice. The government in Canberra has conceded that China's conduct did abide by international law.
Pakistan reporting 2 new cases of polio presents a setback to the country's efforts to eradicate a disease that remains endemic only in Pakistan and neighboring Afghanistan. News and analysis, townhall.com. A January freeze in the housing market.
The National Association of Realtors says pending home sales in the U.S. dropped 4.6% in January, and the number of homes under contract in January fell 5.2% from a year ago. There were month-over-month declines in the Midwest, the South, and the West, with the most significant drop in the South. Sales in the Northeast rose modestly. NAR chief economist Lawrence Yoon says it's unclear if January's terrible weather contributed to fewer buyers in the market. Donna Warder, Washington.
Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says if the United States imposes tariffs, his country has billions of dollars worth of U.S. products that it will be subjecting to tariffs as well. President Trump says he plans to impose tariffs on Canada and Mexico starting Tuesday and double the 10% universal tariff charged on Chinese imports. Townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel and what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 2.
The deuce.
Of Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Friday.
Woot woot.
We finally made it to Friday, and feels good.
Yeah.
Feels right.
It feels earned is what it is.
It does feel
It's
earned.
the end of a week. It's the end of the month.
Yeah.
I mean, we're finally getting into the busy season. People are kind of shaking off the winter slump. We're about to go through the time change. It's, okay, so there's an old cartoon. I don't remember which one it was, but it's just a slow pan over a field
and it's set to the song, and I think the song is called Morning Mood.
Okay.
And it's just that.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, that is what right now is. It's an awakening. Spring has been sprung, and it feels good. It feels good.
Feels right.
I'm trying to give Mike time to jot down. Mike's taking notes, and I'm trying to fill time.
Problem is, the older I get, the blinder I get, and I'm like,
yeah, no, I 100% understand.
yeah, it's a mess.
Not quite a good frolic day, I would say. I would wait maybe a little warmer day for a frolic day.
Well,
but it's a good day to drive by a field and think about a frolic.
I'm thinking like a lunch frolic. Maybe a 4 p.m. frolic might get you a little sweaty.
Okay, yeah, a little late afternoon frolics tend to.
But a nooner frolic,
especially when the sun is low for some reason in the desert sky, it always feels more like a deadly laser, you know. So yeah, I'm for like a 2:30 p.m. frolic.
Yeah,
it's a good time.
That sounds.
But you also might want to wait till things are a little greener, maybe a little more growing, you know.
Yes.
Right
well,
now it's
more scenic.
Yeah, now it's more of just like a frolic in the brown.
Well, and you need to frolic. You need to go through things. Like I feel like to frolic in a field, it has to have like wheat or something. Tall vegetation to frolic through.
You need something to waft your fingers over.
Not poison ivy or nothing.
Oh,
but,
God, no, no.
Maybe some wheat.
That got dark quick.
Weed of some kind.
What happened to you, buddy? This is a frolicking in a field of poison ivy. Felt like a frolic. Turns out bad field.
No, it's
Leaves a 3, let them be. Leaves a 4, eat some more.
Yeah, I believe. I don't want to test the theory now, but I think I have some immunity to poison ivy.
Really? Is that just from your scouting days? You think you like built it up, or?
Oh yeah, because I've been exposed to it many a time.
Okay.
One time I remember falling and rolling around in some of it, and the worst thing that happened was I literally got like a little rash on my arm for about 2 hours, and then it kind of went away. So I gotta think I'm not as affected by poison ivy as others.
If I'm being honest,
yeah,
I don't believe I've ever gotten poison ivied. I think I've gotten poison sumac once.
Right. Now I don't know. Does it grow as prominent here as it does back east?
In where I grew up in Oklahoma, it was pretty prevalent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Like East Coast, like
moister climates tend to have a lot more. We didn't really have a poison ivy problem here. What we have is snakes and spiders,
goat
and
heads
stuff.
and.
Yeah.
And scorpions.
Trying to explain the concept of goat heads back home.
They don't know what goat heads are.
They know stickers. They know sticker bushes, and they understand getting thorned up. But But no, you do not know the dangers of a goat head.
The one thing that is worse than goat heads,
Legos,
that I don't think you have some here, but not as prevalent as back east. Nettles.
Oh yeah, nettles.
Are nasty.
Suck.
Nettles are nasty.
They are not fun. But what we have here, and they're not really painful, they don't hurt, they're just really freaking annoying, are those stick tights.
Yeah.
If you ever have like a felt coat and you accidentally fall down, you just throw the coat away, man. It's over.
And the one that's the worst of the worst, and this is technically not a plant, I don't think. Chiggers. You ever get chiggers?
Oh, that's a real big thing in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Not a huge thing around here.
Back east it is. My dad got a bad case of the going on a camping trip, he got chiggers, and it was.
You know what's funny
gross.
is seeing old, like, I don't want to say like almanac techniques, but like like the old, like old wives' tales, grandma, like the stuff grandma used to do to like heal. That actually works. Did you know if you get I got stung one time by a wasp in my hand. It was right here, and I went and I told my grandpa, and he pulled out a pinch of Red Man of chewing tobacco, and I put it right there, and it took the pain away. It pulled the stinger out. I was like, how does this work?
And this is the thing that we need to remind ourselves sometimes. You and I and we've only been on this earth for a finite number of years.
Well, I as he as you are, he as you are, we, and we are all together.
Yes. People have been living for thousands of years. And people have been having colds, all the things you've been getting, and they didn't have the drugstore down the street to go pick up things.
No. Hold on. I'm not saying don't take your medicines.
No. That's not what I'm saying either.
Okay.
What I'm saying is people figured out how to get problem solved
really
without
did.
going down to the drugstore and buying an over-the-counter medicine.
But
that's life before modern times.
I wonder how that happened.
That's why they put onions on your feet when you got a cold, or
Right.
all these things that happen.
Which was the style at the time.
Because to be honest, it probably had a sense of thing, but how much of it's placebo and just saying, well, now I've got the onion there, it's going to work, therefore it works, and it was just running its course. I mean, there's a whole lot of
it's
science
always
or
the first of it all. Like,
psychology.
Who figured that out? Like, who was sitting there like, I got stung by a wasp, and I actually, like, a drip of my Red Man spit fell in my hand.
And it probably felt good, and he said he liked it.
It's like, huh.
I always say
There's
this, like,
something
how
to
hungry
this.
was the first person to see a crab and say, I want to eat that?
Well, the old, is it?
I mean, it's the same thing.
Was it Bill Hicks? I can't remember which comic it was. Talking about how whoever figured out that milk was consumable. Like, hey, Bill, why don't you go put your lips on the udder of that cow and tell me what happens?
Right. Like the first
that
person.
teat looks a little swole.
So thank goodness they did, because here we sit today. Those are the people we need to make the stamps out of, and all that.
The true unsung heroes.
The first guy who tried milk from a cow direct, created a whole thing. Here's the guy who was so hungry he ate a crab, and now we have crab as a dough.
Here is the inventor of the shark bite suit.
Saying. I would like to see the stamp series.
Absolutely. They need to bring back the Bud Light Real Men of Genius and do a line just for those people.
I would be down for that. I would be
In a
definitely.
world of people drinking water like water, someone had the courage to suck on the udder of a cow. He's a cow, what a sucker.
That's right. He's the milk guy.
Here's to you, Tommy Two-Tone Thompson.
Had to have a milkshake. All right, let me give you Le Rundown for this hour of the show. We'll get you up to date with the weather here in just a bit. Pleasant. Pleasant is a word we can use for the weekend weather. You like that? It's going to be a little breezy, like especially Sunday. But other than that, can't complain.
I like a little breezy.
That's right. It goes good with milk, I hear. Then, like I said, and shortly thereafter here, about 5 minutes or so, we're going to have the folks on the Roswell Symphony Orchestra join us.
Class it up a bit.
That's right. That's right. Dr. Jim Shear and his wife Celeste will be joining us, and Kate Graham as well, talking about Shear plays Vaughn Williams. Big show tomorrow night at the Pearson Auditorium. Tickets are still available, but you're running out of time.
Get yours before they're gone. They'll sell you the whole seat. You will only need the edge.
That's right. But, you might get tired and want the rest.
That's right. Slide it back a little bit, Give them haunches a rest.
That's right. Easy. Let others see. So, so we'll have them join us here in just a bit. Of course, later in the hour, we'll play the newses of the local variety, Wall Street business updates, red apples, and all that good stuff. So.
Apples.
But first, only if you put it in a pie. But first, your pleasant weather. Apple pie weather. Hang it. This is good weather to put the pie on the sill. Cooling weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Sunshine today, and we're headed for about 70 on the afternoon high. Overnight looks clear, upper 30s, and then we're in the low to mid 70s, fall high on Saturday and sunny. We do have a quick low pressure system moving through the area Saturday night, maybe a shower or two, and we'll drop to about 40 on the low. Back to sunshine on Sunday, and we'll hit the mid 70s. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 40 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity's at 47%. Winds are calm at the moment. We're looking at sunny skies today and 72 for a high. Winds will be out of the south at around 5 miles per hour. So pretty much a perfect day today, I'd say. Tonight, partly cloudy with an overnight low of 37 degrees. South winds at around 5 miles per hour. For Saturday, sunny skies. 74 are expected high tomorrow. Winds will be out of the north, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Winds will shift to the south Saturday afternoon. Tomorrow night, mostly clear with an overnight low of 43 degrees. South winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Warming up even more on Sunday, but the winds are coming with it. Sunny and 78, but they use the term breezy. I'd like to say more windy. Winds will be out of the southwest early, 10 to 15 miles per hour. Winds will increase 20 to 25 by Sunday afternoon. Sunday night, we're looking at clear skies with an overnight low of 39. And then when you head back to work and school and all that on Monday, patchy blowing dust for the afternoon, but mostly sunny and windy with a high of 78. All right, it is 8:17. We're going to take about a 2-minute break here, and then we'll talk with the folks talking about the big show tomorrow night with the Roswell Symphony Orchestra. That's up next. Don't go away.
Tired of living with chronic pain? Soft Wave Therapy from Premier Chiropractic in Roswell is here to help.
I couldn't believe it. My knee pain is practically gone after just a few sessions.
Soft Wave Therapy from Premier Chiropractic uses cutting-edge sound wave technology to target inflammation and stimulate your body's natural healing process. No surgery, no downtime, just real relief.
Now I can finally enjoy life again with no shoulder pain.
Don't let pain hold you back. Discover the power of Soft Wave Therapy today from Premier Chiropractic in Roswell. Call now for your free consultation at 623-2900 or visit healthyroswell.com. Soft Wave Therapy from Premier Chiropractic, 1301 North Richardson in Roswell. Restoring life.
Roswell Livestock and Farm Supply is your one-stop shop for farm and ranch supplies in southeast New Mexico, with a friendly, knowledgeable team that can help you find the answers to your problems with brands you know, including Preferred, Pearson, Purina, Hypro Feeds, Ariat, Wrangler, Cinch, Justin Boots, and more. Roswell Livestock and Farm Supply is a proud supporter of area sports, 4-H, FFA, and the farmers and ranchers of tomorrow. Open Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 5:30 p.m., Saturdays 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. at 1105 East 2nd in Roswell. Roswell Livestock and Farm Supply, family owned for 50 years.
Check out some of the bargains you'll find this week at your local Farmers Country Market. Select bags of multi-meal breakfast cereals are $3.98 each, and cans of StarKist Chunk Light Tuna in water are 88 cents each. In produce, red seedless grapes are $1.99 a pound, and mini watermelons are $3.99 each. In the meat department, boneless chicken breast tenders are $2.49 a pound, and farm-raised raw catfish nuggets are $1.49 a pound. These are just some of the savings you'll find this week at your local Farmers Country Market.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Bamboo plants can grow up to 36 inches in a day. So if you're told you're growing like a weed, you can say, "No, I'm growing like a bamboo." Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 19 minutes after 8 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning from the Roswell Symphony Orchestra, of course, Dr. Jim Shearer, performer, and by day, professor.
That's right.
By night, musician as well. And Kate Graham as well, kind of the
concert operations
glue,
manager.
The glue of everything.
Principal oboe player.
Yeah, and whenever, because kind of whenever there's a gap in the line, Kate's there to fill the gap.
Whenever a musician complains, that's who we go to. We go see Kate.
You're the one who makes musicians happy.
That's right.
So you're probably never happy.
Correct.
I joke. But good morning, guys. Welcome.
Good morning.
Now you live in Cruces,
yes,
right?
I do.
And where do you normally when you're not here?
I'm based out of Western Kansas now, but I lived in Roswell for 8 years.
Okay, so you're very Roswell. I mean, well, with RSO, you guys spend
absolutely
a lot of time here. Even when when show weeks and things happen here. But and that's the thing. If you're not familiar, and we'll talk about the big show tomorrow night here. But if you're not familiar with the Roswell Symphony Orchestra, and I say this, I kind of like to give the intro every time we talk about the RSO. Really, the Roswell Symphony Orchestra is kind of, I look at as the New Mexico Symphony Orchestra. And what I mean by that is all the members of the RSO come, and it's outside of New Mexico, but they come from all over the state.
Mm-hmm.
They come from really all over the Southwest.
Yeah.
Texas, Arizona, Utah. I mean, if it's kind of adjacent to New Mexico,
right,
there might be a few. And all of the members of the RSO, most of them have musical careers in other, maybe they're professors, maybe they're players in other orchestras, but they're all generally in the world. And then this is kind of the meeting of the minds. A couple times of the year, a bunch of very talented musicians get together and say, let's do a show.
That's exactly right. And that's what it's been for many, many years.
Yeah. And so it's kind of a fascinating thing because, Kate, as far as like if you did a full every player in the RSO, how many players is that?
In October and April, when we do larger concerts, we're somewhere between 65 and 75 musicians.
Yeah. And so that's a lot of people to get on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
And when 60 people live in 60 different places, and you're saying, oh, yeah, we're all going to play, oh, by the way, in concert together on a stage, same notes, same, everyone vibing, there's a lot of work involved in that because I'm sure it's a lot of online stuff, individual practice.
Mm-hmm.
And then basically, if you have a Saturday concert, generally everyone rolls in on like a Thursday.
Right.
And from Thursday, Friday, and I'm guessing Saturday, those are the 3 days that actually everyone's in a room together playing music together. And then everyone's kind of, and then by Saturday night, it's a well-oiled machine and you have a beautiful show to present here.
That's the plan anyway.
But what I love about it is I imagine, like, the core of this group, it's pretty much, like, has there been a lot of influx as far as new members in, new members out, or has it been kind of the same core of musicians over the last, 10 years or so?
Well, I can tell you for me, I formally joined the orchestra, about 10 years ago?
Okay.
10 years ago. My wife's been playing horn in this orchestra for over 30 years.
Gotcha.
Kate's been with the group for quite some time. The tubist before me played for, I think,
gotcha. So it's
long time. Yeah. So people do have an association here and come back year after year after year. And it's just a special thing. We're all close friends. We all know each other in other musical circles as well. Before we went on the air, we were saying Kate was just in Durango, Colorado last week, and so was my wife. So they both go up to Durango and play in that symphony.
Nice.
A lot of those folks come and play in Roswell.
Okay.
Some of them play over in Lubbock.
So it's kind of an offshoot a little bit.
Right. And then we're tied to the Las Cruces Symphony. We're tied to the El Paso Symphony. And so it's not always the exact same group of people, but we know everybody from all of these regional orchestras.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's pretty, that's neat. And what I like about it, too, is it also, because of those circles, I think it makes what you guys do here in Roswell possible.
Oh, absolutely.
Because if you guys, put it this way, to get 60 players in basically 2.5 days to play in concert together, that's a tough challenge.
It is. Well, it's a mixed bag of things because it depends on the programming.
Sure.
For example, on this concert, they're doing Beethoven's Seventh Symphony.
Gotcha.
Well, that was done not too long ago in El Paso, and that was done not too long ago in Durango.
So these are kind of like in the bag.
Well, and it's been done for the last 200 years.
Sure. Well, that's true. It's not like these aren't new. I just got a new Beethoven out. What?
I will pick on the maestro since he's not here. He has a great line that he'll say every once in a while. If we come in on Thursday night. A lot of us do have day jobs. We've taught all day.
Sure.
That first Thursday night rehearsal is a good run through, but some people are a little tired. You're dragging a little bit. And if there's a problem, he'll sometimes cut off and he'll say, this is not the world premiere. And he's right. We've all played this piece before.
Sure.
And so it's just, let's get the tempos together. I want to do this faster. I want to do this slower. I want to do this louder. We're adjusting bits and pieces, but yeah, everybody's played it before.
So let me ask you this is, as a musician and doing, like you said, at some point you're playing the same songs that you played,
No.
rock bands and everyone else, especially if you're one-hit wonders, you're hitting the circuit and you're playing the same song every night.
Right.
And I'm going to guess there is a fatigue on that too, but it's a little different too when, for 40 years, my whole life, the Beethoven songs, you know what I mean? Mozart's Mozart.
Right.
We're not talking, the most recent song we're talking about is 200 years ago.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's kind of, I'm just throwing a number up, but I mean, that's what we're talking about here. So like you said, everyone's played these 100 times. So is what gets you up for it is the people? Like, is it kind of like, you know what? I get to play with so-and-so over here. We're going to do that. You know what I mean? Is that kind of the draw too?
Do you want the honest answer? I'll give you the honest answer.
Yeah. No lie to me.
A lot of times it's the piece. For example, the Beethoven Seventh Symphony. It's an absolute masterpiece.
Yeah.
And we love playing that piece of music.
Gotcha.
Nutcracker from Tchaikovsky every Christmas. Not so much.
Gotcha.
We're a little tired of that one because it's over and over and over
Sure.
again. That does become repetitious, but things like that.
Gotcha.
And then the opposite is the piece I'm getting to play, this Vaughan Williams Tuba Concerto. That's actually kind of a rare piece. You don't hear that as often on symphony concerts. I've had several people come up to me this rehearsal and I had to practice, because it's not a piece they know as well.
You went deep you went to the deep cuts
The
catalog.
composer is very well known, but the particular piece is not.
Sure.
And so it's a little bit different challenge.
Well, and that's something that in our, I'll transition this because I definitely want to make sure we promote tomorrow night. Of course, Dr. Shearer here will be the kind of the highlight for tomorrow night's Roswell Symphony Orchestra performance as Shearer plays Vaughan Williams. That'll be tomorrow night's show, 7:30 at the Pearson Auditorium. Tickets are still available right now. You can get them online if you go to roswellsymphony.org.
Yes.
You can get tickets there. If you're not an internet person, you can always call. Is this your number, Kate? Who answers this?
That's the symphony number.
That's the actual office number
Yep.
here. 575-623-5882. Again, 575-623-5882 if you don't want to do the internet and stuff. I'm going to imagine if tickets are available tomorrow night at the door, you probably can get them. I'm going to
Yes,
assume.
tickets will be available at the door.
But
and when you come, bring a friend.
Yes, we would. Yes. But you know what? Don't wait for it. Get your tickets in advance. Get them now.
Please.
That way, yeah, it makes a lot of people sweat less. But then,
no, you were saying it's New Mexico Symphony. You're absolutely right. It is a special thing in Roswell.
Yeah.
Not every town in New Mexico has this sort of thing, and we're really and it's been so long. This is such a long storied history.
And
it
really is talented musicians. It's like you're getting the Yankees rolling in for the night. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's what. Yeah. That's what you're getting, and it's even a little bit different than that. It's more like Major League Baseball's All-Stars. And I'm saying,
in a way, you're absolutely right. I mean, Richard Meek has been playing for how many years in this orchestra? He's the principal bassoon. He's taught at Texas Tech for millions. I mean, this guy is a very serious college professor, heavily respected, taught tons of students over the years. He's here playing this gig. Rick Lambert, God bless him, is 80 years old playing the French horn. He is teaching at UTEP. He's one of the great band directors, but he played in a group called the El Paso Brass
still doing
for
all
over
that at
40 years.
too?
Yeah,
wow,
he's still playing. Playing. I
hope I've had that energy.
So you've got there's some institutional knowledge here that you're getting with a group like this,
and that's what I love. And I don't care if you're a musician, and I don't care if you're a garage band musician or whatever, high school band, whatever you do. Come out to the show.
Please.
See, this is, like last hour, I was talking with some, I don't know if you got a chance to hear, but we had some of the Roswell High Jazz Band. They got a spaghetti fundraising event next week. And so we were talking music. And let's face it, these are 17, 18-year-old kids. And I'm pretty sure jazz is not something that just shows up on their normal playlist but because of their exposure to jazz, their exposure to this, they kind of have the better appreciation. And so
Absolutely.
they kind of, and that's why I think it's like, if you don't know Vaughan Williams, you don't know Mozart, classical, if that's not, all of this begats from that. You know what I mean?
And so, and for your audience, for people who aren't normal symphony goers, do you like movie films?
Yes.
Do you like movie soundtracks? Movie
scores
films,
for
movie soundtracks? Are you a gamer? Do you play these? If you've done Skyrim or Band of Brothers, all of those video games. If you like those soundtracks, you're going to like this music we're playing because that's where it comes from.
That's where it comes from. Yeah, And as the musician side, I do love because, everything begats everything. You know, when we look at, I always make this. I love Metallica. As growing up, that's one of my bands, and I always look at, and if people that kind of everyone has their opinion on the thing, and I said I gotta be honest. I look at bands like Metallica. I said they're the modern Mozarts and
absolutely
and Beethovens.
Yep.
And, the complexity. I mean, yes, you hear one thing. But if you look at the notes and you look at what they're writing and you're looking at how they're composing the music, this is Beethoven level and that kind of, they're getting in the lab and creating is what.
Oh, it absolutely is. And with that band, it's the drummer and the bass player.
Yeah.
They're the glue that hold that together. Yeah. And that's where the complexity is. And then they float just really cool.
Yeah, exactly. But all of
stuff
that,
over the top.
Guess what? You know what the roots for all that is? What you're going to see tomorrow night at the Pearson Auditorium.
You bet.
That's all from that and all begats. And so if you want to create music, if you want to do that, and I was kind of talking about this to these high schools. We live in this world with computers and stuff, and fortunately or unfortunately, I mean, it's a double-edged sword, is you really don't have to know music that well to create a song if you know how to do computer software.
Right.
And, I mean, that's wonderful in some aspects, but for music, it really isn't. To be good at music, to know music, to make music, you gotta, it's no different than math or anything else. If you want to create the next engineering marvel, you got to know the formulas. You got to know the science behind it.
Right. What we tell our kids is you have to learn the rules before you get to break them.
Exactly, and music's all about that. I mean, they make the rules, and then everyone runs out and tries to outdo them or break them.
Right. But that's what makes Mozart a genius. That's what makes Beethoven a genius.
Exactly.
They had a set of structure, rules and then Mozart did this instead.
Sure.
And that's why we talk about Mozart and we don't talk about 10 other composers that were living the same time he was. They were great, but they weren't Mozart great.
Sure. But but I would even compare it to, like, if you look at like explorers, your Columbuses and your Magellans and all this of the world, music's that way where it's like, okay, we know this information or we know these are the notes and everything else, but these artists are going out and saying, no, I can do this with it, or I can, present it in this way, or I can, oh, there's the note, but I'm going to do it with a different instrument to give it a whole different sound, and and that's where the wonders, the exploring of music comes into play, and to see, and that's why I say there's a place for all of this stuff. Even when you hear things that sound like hot garbage, and they're like, that's avant-garde. And I'm like, yeah, it does sound like somebody beating pans on a wall or something like that. But to be honest, if you break it down, there is a little something there. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't be jamming down the street on that blaring out my radio on my car.
Right.
But I can also appreciate the science behind a little bit, and there is if you look.
Absolutely. We don't play much of that with Roswell.
Right. You're not going to get that tomorrow night.
That does exist in our classical music world, but not here.
But tomorrow night is, if you've never seen an RSO show, then make tomorrow night your first one. Come on out.
We'd love to have you.
I guarantee the amount of just the level of professional entertainment you're going to get tomorrow night. And are they doing any? Because usually they'll do a little pre-stuff and things. Is it just sometimes they'll have like stuff for kids, or sometimes it's some of the shows. Is it just the show tomorrow night, 7:30?
This one is just the show.
Gotcha.
So the maestro has asked me to talk about the piece I'm playing.
Yes.
As the tuba player, I'm sitting in the back of the orchestra, and I'm just the foundation of the
you're
orchestra.
Kind of you're in the creamy back there making everything.
There aren't a lot of tuba concertos, and this is actually the very first one that was written to feature the tuba. It was written for the 50th anniversary of the London Symphony Orchestra. It was written for their principal tubist.
Okay.
And by a very famous British composer. And so 1954 into 55, this piece was created, and it's the very first one to put the tuba out front. And
so this is very unique. Like
it is. He's asked me to talk to the audience a little bit.
All you tuba players out there, it's your night on the stage.
You'll find out the tuba doesn't just do oompa. It can be a solo instrument, and it can sing. And it's written appropriately so that it's the higher range of the tuba, and it's pretty.
Well, it is. In certain instruments just evoke a certain feeling, no matter what. You know what I mean? And tuba does. It's kind of it's either one or two things. It's the sad clown, or it's the
Right. Right. Exactly.
And you're saying no, it's deeper than that.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. We play those roles frequently in the orchestra, but in this particular piece, the first movement is pretty dramatic. The second movement is just a beautiful love song, and the third movement is how fast can you play? How many notes can you play? How high can you play?
And that's the cool part I love about seeing, that's some of the best times in music is when you see the background instruments become the centerpiece instruments. And it's no different in rock bands and things when the bass guy comes out and does a whole bass thing, and you're like, normally he's just the bass player's in the background here. But when you see the tuba, or you see the trombone, or you see the drums come out and in percussion take the lead.
Yeah.
Those are always, you get special moments in doing that kind of thing. So this is tuba night tomorrow night.
It is tuba night, and we'll give you a little tease. There's also an added special surprise bonus. You have to come to the concert to find out what it is.
We will not let that cat out of this bag this morning here. But get your tickets. Like we said, it'll be tomorrow night, 7:30 p.m. at the Pearson Auditorium, where all the concerts that there are. So almost all of them are there. It's a beautiful facility to see a concert in. Especially if you haven't been since the renovation. They remodeled
goodness.
about a half dozen years ago.
Every time we come in now that it's been renovated, we're so thrilled. I mean, we've always loved playing there, but once they redid that building, we were amazed at how great it sounded, and it felt different on the stage.
It's got a good character to that
it really
building,
does.
Because it's an old historical building, and that kind of creates that. But it's kind of got the best of both worlds now. It still has that classic, vibe to it, but got more modern. The one thing that I've heard, and I don't know if you guys have heard it, that the NMMI students or faculty, the one, I wouldn't say complaint, but thing they have about that is the old chairs in the theater there. They had a unique sound when you open and
Yes.
close.
Oh,
They
yeah.
did.
And in a military environment, when everyone stands up and sits down at the exact same time, it creates this unique sound.
Oh, I never thought about that. That's funny.
And that is
funny.
now gone. With the new chairs.
Interesting. Wow.
That's the only, like, if you want to say complaint I've heard about the renovation,
Oh,
that was it. Is a little nostalgia was missed on the chair sound. But you won't have, you won't have to worry about that tomorrow night.
No.
There's going to be plenty of music. You won't have time to hear chair sound and all that stuff. Come on out as Dr. Jim Shear and the RSO put on a beautiful Vaughn Williams show tomorrow night. Tuba fans, if you're in marching band and you're the tuba, tomorrow night is your night in the spotlight. Come see Dr. Shear here.
Well,
Jam out on tuba.
I do have the honor of often playing with the Roswell Jazz Festival as well. So people who are the big jazz fans, and you've heard me do that stuff. This is a different world, but it's a cool world. If you like the Roswell Jazz Festival stuff, come check this out too.
So when you kind of get into tuba soloing, does it kind of feel more jazzy, more like in the classic world, because I just imagine when you get to kind of going to town on a tuba,
sure,
it's going to sound jazz. It's going to sound, you know what I mean? It's good.
You raise an interesting point.
Yeah.
This is not a jazz piece in any way. It's
Gotcha.
very much a classical piece, but from my jazz background, there are a couple of blue notes in here.
Yeah.
You know, there is a little
You are
bit of you
influenced in
lean
your
into
jazz.
it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Your jazz playing informs your classical playing. My classical playing informs my jazz playing. It goes both ways.
But that's what makes music awesome.
Yeah.
Because, and that's why you can get 12 people in a room. Maybe they're classic. Maybe they play tuba, but theirs is strictly more classic.
Right.
So they're going to have a different stank on it a little
That's
bit. If that's the
right.
Sorry for the creamy, but that's
Nope.
kind of what it is. You put your own stank on it.
That is a perfect word. You're right.
And I imagine that's kind of like in your day job as a professor, that's kind of the big thing. It's
Absolutely.
like, I can teach you the notes all day, but it's how you feel them, how you interpret them.
I'll teach you a new music word. If you like stank,
yes.
The other one is greasy.
Get you greasy.
Make that a little greasy, right? If you get a little, there's greasy. Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
that's what
exactly.
you're looking for.
That's kind of, and that's what, and that's why tomorrow's going to be magical.
We think
because
so.
You're going to put your stank, you're going to make it greasy, but then you've got a bunch of other people that are equally talented going to put their stank on this whole thing. And when you got a lot of professional people, they're all spinning their head, oh my God. But when you get that much together on a stage doing things, you're going to see some unexpected things tomorrow night.
Sure.
Things are just going to happen. There's going to be a show, and they've got a set thing, but when you got that much talent in the room, something's going to go off kilter and go into awesomeness. You know what I mean?
We like to think so.
Where it's that thing that wasn't planned. And next thing you know, it's, oh
the
my
other
God.
big piece, the Beethoven 7th Symphony, is one of his true masterpieces. Everybody knows the Fifth Symphony. Da,
Sure.
da, da, da,
Yeah,
right?
that's
Well, his Sixth Symphony was a programmatic symphony. It really told a picturesque music story. And with the Seventh Symphony, honestly, he was just in a better mood that day.
Sure.
And it is a lighter, happier piece. There's a certain joy to that piece. It's just amazing.
That's something we always, you don't think about, but you think about. It's like, they are great musicians, but not every one of them was a masterpiece.
Right.
It's kind of, you even look at like people say the Beatles, and like, yeah, they still release songs. Like, yeah, not all of them were hits. Some of them they're just finding them that they thought it sucked, but someone else was like, I can make a dime off of it.
Sure.
Now, I'm sure someone gets into Mozart, Beethoven's. I'm sure they have. There's a few pieces that were sitting at the bottom of the chest that are like,
absolutely.
Yeah, that was a late night something going on there. I don't know what that was.
Right.
Or
Not
someone else.
Not his best effort. Well, maybe that was for money only. You never know.
You know what? Edgar Allan Poe had a few stinkers in his closet, and his I'm sure when they found his stuff up, and Mark Twain and everybody else.
Sure.
I'm sure you went to their effects. There's a few not ready for public consumption type stuff out there.
Yeah.
And that's Beethoven's got them too.
Sure.
But again, tomorrow night, come on out to the Roswell Symphony Orchestra at the Pearson Auditorium. Come out for this show. Shearer plays Vaughn Williams. It'll be an amazing night of just fun, great music. Hear things that you'll remember, but maybe in a different way, kind of things.
Absolutely.
Presented.
Yeah, if you haven't been in a while, now's a great time to come back out. We've got another show in May, and the support for this orchestra has been amazing over the years, but things have changed in Roswell.
Sure.
And we'd like to see I remember when we first came over, it was constantly sold out, constantly sold out. You couldn't get a ticket to the Roswell Symphony. And it tapered off a little bit, and then COVID.
Yeah.
And post-COVID, our audiences have been off a little bit.
Sure.
And I know the people are still here in town, and it's safe. Come on out and check it out.
Come on down. Come on down. Make a night of it. Maybe have a nice dinner beforehand.
Absolutely.
I do want to remind everybody that students attend our concerts for free.
That's
Students
right.
of all ages, high school, college students. So
Please come.
The North Lobby is where the tickets are sold. Stop by the ticket table and get yourself a free ticket.
We
if you're
should see
a
whole
student.
bands out there,
That would be great.
Every
Yes.
high school band out there, an orchestra, come on out and be a part of it. See some amazing talented music, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And of course, we'd love a bunch of people to buy tickets too. It does cost quite a bit of coin to put on one of these programs, and your support. And thank you so much to generous supporters. I know for this one, Dr. John and Mrs. D. and Kaysen and Roswell Lodgers Tax helped out a little bit on this one.
That's
very
wonderful.
appreciative.
Those sustaining supporters are what really keep the orchestra alive, and we appreciate that kind of
Absolutely.
support.
And so, by the way, if you would like to support, come on out tomorrow night. And I'm sure the maestro or Cisco, or there'll be someone out there that be happy to talk to you about helping out. Or Kate should be happy to help you talk a little bit more about, being more involved with the.
Absolutely. Kate can give you all the information, and she will happily take your check.
That is correct.
So I got one more question. So maybe there's a talented musician out there listening. It's like, how do I get in this group here? How do I?
That's a great question.
Is there any musician? Like, if there's a musician out there saying, "Hey, I'd like to hang with these folks and play a little bit and see what we can do."
Can call the symphony office at the number you previously provided, the 575-623-5882,
Okay.
or email rso@dfn.com.
Yeah. And who knows? Maybe you could be, because that's, this is the thing, to keep the tradition going. It does happen. People get older, things happen, and like you said, you have, we have an 80-year-old man who's doing amazing
Absolutely.
things, but
at some point,
he's going to say, "I want to go retire and live."
No, and we do have the other end of it too. We're really honored to have we have a couple of college students playing. We have some graduate students who are playing, and we are bringing up a younger tradition of musicians. But if somebody has moved to Roswell and, hey, I played in an orchestra back east, Kate would love to talk to you about that.
But I would think, as a young musician, you're just walking into a wealth of experience and knowledge and brain picking and so if you're looking to broaden your own musical education, I gotta imagine this is a great way to get your foot in the door.
You're sitting third or fourth chair. You're sitting down from that experienced player. There's so much to be learned.
There's probably guys in that room that's forgotten more than you know sometimes.
Absolutely.
That's the beauty of it. And then, like you said, it's music.
Yeah.
You're getting other people's ideas and other people's influence, and that in turn is going to influence your own.
You bet.
And that's going to make you a better musician. And that's how this works. So for the rest of us, come on out tomorrow night. Get your tickets right now. Just go to roswellsymphony.org, and you can get while you're there too, learning more about the season and see other upcoming shows. If you'd like to be a member and support that way, on the website you can learn more about all that stuff. But first, get on over and click to get tickets for tomorrow night's show, and enjoy a great night of music. And I guarantee, and I don't care if you what your musical tastes are, what you're into or not into, when you get done tomorrow night, you're going to be like, that was an amazing performance.
That's what we like to hear. Thank you.
Yes.
Excellent. Kay, is there anything we missed? I know I said stank one too many times, but short of that.
I just roll my eyes because I'm a woodwind player, not a brass player.
We'd put no stank on our woodwind.
But I think you covered everything, and I appreciate it, Mike.
Anytime. And folks, come on out. It's going to be a fun show. It's going to be the best ticket in town tomorrow night. Come on out to the Pearson Auditorium and get your tickets today, and then bring them with you tomorrow night. But I get it. Life happens. If you completely space out and don't get your tickets, get there about 7 o'clock, 6:30, and get your tickets, and we'll get you a good spot for the show. Good deal. Well, thank you guys.
Thank you so much. We'll see you tomorrow night.
We'll see you tomorrow night. Break a leg.
Thank you.
I always get music. I was told I'm okay to say break a leg.
Yes.
Break a leg, break a lip. Either way.
Oh, either way you're covered. And put some stank on it. Thank you, guys.
Thanks for having me.
Anytime. It is 8:46. Let's pause for news, sports, and a quick break. Don't go away.
Now for your Pecos Valley news update, I'm Jared Sorello. A groundbreaking ceremony marking the beginning of construction of the grandstands for spectators of the upcoming National Championship Air Races and Air Show was held on Wednesday at the Roswell Air Center. Officials from the city of Roswell, Chavez County, and other local entities, along with NCAR representatives, took part in the ceremony. The grandstands will seat about 10,000 people for the National Championship Air Races and Air Show that's scheduled to make its Roswell Air Center debut in September. The latest oil and gas lease sale in Eddy County brought in more than $20 million as the federal government aims to increase fossil fuel production throughout the country. The lease sale was held by the BLM, offering parcels in New Mexico's southeast corner amid the Permian Basin oil fields. The Permian Basin is said to be the most productive oil and gas basin in the entire U.S. All 7 of the offered parcels were bid on and set to be leased, totaling about 1,317 acres in Eddy and Lee counties. You're up to date. I'm Jared Sorello.
It's time for the Chavez County Sports Report. Got some district basketball tournament game results to give you from last night, and it was a good night for the Roswell Coyotes. The Coyotes blast Carlsbad at home by a score of 86-45. Roswell moves to 22-6 on the season. Carlsbad 17-11. It's the third time they play. Roswell won by 3 the first time. That was on January 31st. 2 weeks later, they won by 11, and now 2 weeks later, they walloped the Cavemen. Roswell plays at Hobbs for the district championship this weekend. Meanwhile, NMMI defeats Ruidoso at home 41-29. The Colts 16-11 will be at Tularosa on Saturday night at 6 o'clock to decide the district championship. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell's Talk FM 106.5.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Sunshine today, and we're headed for about 70 on the afternoon high. Overnight looks clear, upper 30s, and then we're in the low to mid 70s, fall to high on Saturday and sunny. We do have a quick low pressure system moving through the area Saturday night, maybe a shower or two, and we'll drop to about 40 on the low. Back to sunshine on Sunday, and we'll hit the mid 70s. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
All across America, this is the Red Apple Audio Network's Market Report.
I'm James Flippin. U.S. stocks finished lower yesterday as the market is bracing for the potential impact of tariffs set to be levied on goods from Mexico, Canada, and China. Chipmaker and AI darling NVIDIA sold off despite delivering strong guidance and posting results that beat on the top and bottom lines. NVIDIA did report a decline in gross margins for the quarter and its smallest revenue beat in 2 years. Looking at economic data, unemployment claims are up at their highest level so far this year. The Labor Department reports initial filings for unemployment benefits hit 242,000 for the week ending February 22nd, an increase of 22,000 week over week, also the highest number of unemployment claims reported since October of 2024. The second print of the fourth quarter GDP held steady, and in January, pending home sales dropped to their lowest level on record since the National Association of Realtors began tracking that category in 2001. Today, we get January's personal income and spending, as well as the January PCE index. That's the Fed's preferred measure of inflation. And the Department of Agriculture says it will invest $1 billion to try and stop the spread of bird flu and hopefully bring egg prices down. With business, I'm James Flippin.
This is the Red Apple Audio Network's Market Report.
I love My Patriot Cigar Company. Premium hand-rolled cigars blended by some of the best master blenders in the industry, using the finest aged tobacco from Nicaragua. 4 different blends and complexities to satisfy any palate. Get the Patriot Cigar 5-cigar sampler pack free when you spend $100 or more using promo code STONE. 5 free cigars on orders over $100 with free shipping. MyPatriotCigars.com, promo code STONE. MyPatriotCigars.com, a premium smoke for freedom-loving patriots.
Are you ready to succeed? The health education programs at ENMU Roswell can set you up for success with a wide variety of courses such as emergency medical services, fire science, medical assisting, nursing, and respiratory therapy. ENMU Roswell can prepare you for a rewarding career in the healthcare industry. ENMUR stacks courses in order to get the student into a job as quickly as possible while creating a pathway for more advanced certifications, licenses, and degrees. Eastern New Mexico University Roswell. Success starts here.
When the temple was completed, King Solomon dedicated the temple in prayer to God. In this prayer, his God-given wisdom shined through. He started by stating the supremacy of God, praising his love for the people and for keeping his promises. He also made requests, but they were requests centered in the will of God, not his own personal will. Solomon understood that God was too big for the temple, but he still asked for him to always keep his eyes on his people and hear their prayers. Solomon also knows that even with all the blessings that God has bestowed on his people, the people will sin. Solomon prays that when the people turn back to God, that he forgives them, and that they again enjoy the blessings that come with God's favor. He also asks that God hear the prayer of the foreigner, so that all may know God and understand his ways. What a great pattern of prayer for all of us to learn. To do these things: praise God, know he's supreme, ask him to be with us, ask for forgiveness, and ask that others know God as well.
Join us at the Country Club Road Church of Christ for worship at 10 a.m. on Sunday, located on the corner of Country Club and Washington in Roswell.
Get ready to boogie at the Spencer Theater for the Performing Arts. On Saturday, March 15th at 7 p.m., experience When Disco Was King, featuring the Kings of Disco, all former members of the world-famous Village People. Dance the night away to hits from legends like the Bee Gees, Donna Summer, and Earth, Wind & Fire. Get your tickets today by visiting spencertheater.com or by calling the box office at 575-336-4800. We'll see you at the Spencer.
Great news, Roswell. Your friends at Roswell Ford have the best relationship advice ever. Break up and do it right now. Really? Yes. Break up with your old beater and upgrade for a less during Ford Truck Month at Roswell Ford. Right now, everybody gets friends and family pricing on all new and quality pre-owned vehicles with up to $8,000 off MSRP on new Fords with 0 down, 0% APR for 72 months, and no payments for 90 days. Plus, we have a great selection of low-mileage, one-owner pre-owned vehicles in prime condition starting at just $10,000. Making payments on your current car, truck, or SUV and want out early? Roswell Ford wants to terminate your current lease or loan, even if you owe thousands more than it's worth. And our aggressive lenders will push to approve your credit, even if your credit is less than perfect. Huge savings, more for your trade, and a better buying experience. Get on board at Roswell Ford, 821 North Main Street in beautiful Roswell, or online at roswellford.com. 0 APR is $13.89 per thousand financed. Interest accrues from date of sale on select vehicles. Trade balance refinanced to new loan. Subject to lender approval. Offers not combined.
Our lives run on energy every day. And every day, your friends and neighbors at New Mexico Gas Company safely deliver reliable, affordable, essential energy to New Mexicans. The kind of energy that brings families together, that surrounds us in comfort. The energy that warms homes and hearts. We're New Mexico Gas Company, and every day we deliver the energy that's behind some of the warmest moments in your life. That's why we're here.
Tired of living with chronic pain? Soft Wave Therapy from Premier Chiropractic in Roswell is here to help.
I couldn't believe it. My knee pain is practically gone after just a few sessions.
Soft Wave Therapy from Premier Chiropractic uses cutting-edge sound wave technology to target inflammation and stimulate your body's natural healing process. No surgery, no downtime, just real relief.
Now I can finally enjoy life again with no shoulder pain.
Don't let pain hold you back. Discover the power of Soft Wave Therapy today from Premier Chiropractic in Roswell. Call now for your free consultation at 623-2900 or visit healthyroswell.com. Soft Wave Therapy from Premier Chiropractic, 1301 North Richardson in Roswell. Restoring life.
Get ready, Artesia. The main event car show and cruise is rolling into town Friday, March 28th and Saturday, March 29th, 2025. Friday night, we're kicking things off at 6 p.m. with the Main Street Cruise. Watch as classic cars, hot rods, and muscle cars take over Main Street, cruising by the decade. It's a moving history lesson with a whole lot more horsepower. Then Saturday from 9 to 3, downtown Artesia transforms into the ultimate car lover's paradise. Cars, trucks, motorcycles, bikes, even tractors. It's free family fun with music, friendly competition, and more. Want in on the action? Register your ride at artesiachamber.com or stop by 107 North 1st Street in Artesia. The main event car show and cruise, March 28th and 29th in downtown Artesia. Brought to you by the Artesia Car Enthusiasts, Artesia Chamber, and Artesia Main Street. Paid for by Artesia Logitech.
I'm only going a short distance. I never wear a seatbelt for that.
Seat belts are too constraining, so I don't want to wear it.
My pickup truck will protect me. Why do I need a seatbelt?
It's a fact. Seatbelts save lives. Whether you're going to the corner store or traveling across the state, wear your seatbelt. Whenever you get into a vehicle, be a good example for your passengers and buckle up. Seatbelts are there to protect you and your passengers, so wear them. Remember, if you buckle up, they'll buckle up. Sponsored by NMDOT and aired in cooperation with the NMBA and this station.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. More than 50% of Americans fall asleep on their sides. That's way better than falling asleep on someone else's side. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 8:57. Stay tuned next hour, here about 9:15 or so. We'll have folks from the Chaves County Sheriff's Department join us. I believe it's going to be Under Sheriff Charles Eastless popping in for a visit this morning. But we'll talk with them next hour. You know, I was just in the break there. I got on my phone there. I got a notification. This whole thing surrounding Gene Hackman and his wife, death there in Santa Fe. This thing's getting weirder and weirder, man. I mean, it's like at first they thought they were saying natural causes, and now as more investigating's done, it's like, well, maybe not here. And now they found the wife around some pills, and that she's probably been dead for several weeks. One dog was dead and one wasn't, and I'm hearing all kinds of stuff. And then they said that there was no natural gas or carbon monoxide leaks detected. So there's a lot of weird going on with this case. So let me turn.
A Santa Fe detective told TMZ that Betsy was found lying on her right side in the bathroom with a black space heater near her head. Police think if the heater may have fallen off the counter, possibly when she fell, if she fell. There was also an open prescription pill bottle with pills scattered around. The disturbing part, her body was decomposed and showing signs of, quote, mummification. Hackman was found in the mudroom off the kitchen, and police think he may have fallen suddenly because his glasses seemed to have been thrown off his body. He was fully clothed, and his body was in a similar condition to his wife's. The dog, a German Shepherd, was found in a closet near the bathroom, but the couple's two other dogs were alive and healthy. Maintenance workers who found Gene and Betsy said they hadn't seen him in 2 weeks. The front door was ajar when the police arrived, but there were no signs of forced entry.
Well, I mean, it's all weird. I'm going to take a weird guess. The dog that was found dead by the bathroom maybe ate some of the pills.
I was just thinking that same thing. I mean, if pills fell out.
Yeah, that seems like a plausible reason there. But
maybe
the rest of it, I don't know. Like, did they both happen at the same time? Like,
the door was open, but not ajar.
One thing hit, and then he went to go get her and fell. Or I mean, is it that very weird like that, where she had the thing happen, heard the noise, he went to go and fall? I mean, is it that
could be? I mean,
crazy?
Also, you know, you didn't have your door locked. You didn't have to be forced entry for somebody to have come in.
And that's another thing. I've heard rumors that people stealing drugs, or I've heard the gamut. So I don't know, but it's definitely weird.
It's it's very odd.
Yeah. All right. It is 9:00. You're listening to 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico. We will be back on the other side of news. Do not go away.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. President Trump is set to sign an executive order designating English the official language of the United States. Reversing a Clinton mandate, this order will allow government agencies and organizations that get federal funds to choose whether to continue offering documents and services in languages other than English. He's visiting the White House today. Ukrainian President Zelensky expected to sign an agreement granting the U.S. mining and development rights to Ukraine's vast deposits of rare earth minerals, a critical element in modern tech. President Trump says it's a good deal for both countries.
The minerals agreement will provide the basis for a more sustainable future relationship between the United States and Ukraine, and thus stimulate the long-term prosperity that will help the Ukrainians rebuild their country.
Mr. Trump says the deal will also allow the U.S. to recoup the billions in wartime aid it has sent to Ukraine. The Social Security Administration preparing to lay off at least 7,000 members of its workforce of 60,000. And by the time all is said and done, SSA's workforce could eventually be cut in half.
It's unclear how the layoffs will directly impact the benefits of the 72.5 million beneficiaries, including retirees and children who receive retirement and disability benefits. However, advocates and Democratic lawmakers warn that layoffs will reduce the agency's ability to serve recipients in a timely manner. The layoffs are part of the Trump administration's intensified efforts to shrink the size of the federal workforce through the Department of Government Efficiency run by Trump advisor Elon Musk. Bernie Bennett reporting.
Americans pulled the purse strings tight last month, a 0.2% drop in consumer spending in January from the month before. Watching Wall Street, the Dow trading about 261 points higher. The Nasdaq is up 128 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals too.
Call 866-755-5300. That's 866-755-5300. Again, that's 866-755-5300. Call us right now.
South Korea is tracking North Korean troops shipped off to Ukraine to fight for Russia.
South Korea's spy agency has said that North Korea appears to have sent additional troops to Russia. The claim comes after North Korean soldiers deployed on the Russian-Ukraine front suffered heavy casualties. South Korea's National Intelligence Service said it was trying to determine exactly how many more troops North Korea has deployed to Russia. North Korea has been supplying a vast amount of conventional weapons to Russia. Last fall, it sent about 10,000 to 12,000 troops to Russia as well, according to the US, South Korean and Ukraine intelligence officials. I'm Karen Shamas.
Hundreds of thousands of protesters have flooded the streets of cities around Greece, part of a general strike, marking the second anniversary of a devastating train crash in northern Greece that has become a symbol of institutional failure. The disaster killed 57 people, sparked national outrage. News and analysis at townhall.com. The Senate's cleared the way for a final vote on Linda McMahon, President Trump's education secretary nominee.
By a vote of 51 to 47 on Thursday, the Senate advanced McMahon toward a final vote expected sometime next week. She'll have no trouble being confirmed in the GOP-controlled upper chamber and passed her committee hearing just last week on a party line vote. McMahon enjoys no support from Democrats. They say they're opposed to her lack of education credentials and agreement with President Trump that the Department of Education should be shut down. Agnew reporting.
Rose Jerome, believed to be the oldest living Holocaust survivor and a strong advocate for sharing survivors' stories, has died. She was 113. She died Monday in New York. Jerome was born January 13, 1912, in Poland, one of about 245,000 survivors still living across more than 90 countries. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio. Yeah!
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 3.
Trace Inviernos
of Mornings con Mike Winters on this Friday. Happy Friday.
Yes, indeed. We have made it to the end of another one, the end of a week, the end of a month, and the start of all things countdown to spring.
That is, it's kind of, I like it, but I'm like nervous that I'm waiting for like one more freeze or one more.
Yeah, I feel like there's gonna be at least one more like quick dip into darkness, and then it'll start on the upswing.
Right.
It's the pendulum of weather, and it's been swinging wild this last few months.
And like nothing's broke at my house right now, which makes me happy. And I'm like waiting for that shoe to drop.
Right.
And I'm like, uh-oh.
All is right there.
Yeah. So it's all related. I'm like, the weather's going to be bad. It's going to break something else.
You really were truly raised Episcopalian, man. You've got to learn to live in the now. Stop waiting for the dread.
I'm always that guy. It's been there. I've got little things.
We can't have nice things. Something got to give.
I'm that dude sometimes. I just am. I am that guy. I'm not gonna lie.
It's understandable.
Yeah, it's just sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I try to tell myself, don't be that guy. And then I hit a certain day and I'm like, I'm that guy now.
No, you can't just change being that. I'm the same way, but in different ways. I'm like, I want to be better in this, and this, but I know it's just who I am.
Yeah.
One thing is going to happen that's going to be like, crap, now I'm back to this again.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Speaking of related but not related, of course, I was kind of closing out last hour talking about the Hackman deal. And I don't want to be that guy who says, well, my brother's cousins, sisters, roommates, friends, uncle saw this.
There's a guitar tech for Spinal Tap.
But I'm about to do that to you.
My wife's...
Yeah. So my brother-in-law, I don't have to go that deep in the thing.
You could. My wife's brothers.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, he's my brother-in-law. Of course, I've told you, he's a police officer.
Yeah.
Albuquerque Police Department for many years. He was actually the spokesman for a couple years there when you went to the news at night and they interviewed about an accident or burglary. He was the bald-headed dude that could tell you what's going on. Well, since then, he's gone and he's been with the Santa Fe Police for a couple years now. And so my wife, as I was telling that story, sent me a text saying that was his friend who was the one who was the cop that did the wellness check.
Wow.
And then somebody else is my sister-in-law's boss.
But what did we learn from any of this?
Nothing. Absolutely
nothing. Just that you know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody that investigated it. Okay,
absolutely nothing. Yes.
That's
I had one of those moments.
That's not entirely self-serving at all.
I know.
No.
Well, she got told me.
I literally thought there was like you guys knew some salacious information or something.
I know nothing other than that I knew the thing and the thing.
Here's what gets me in the story that I read. That she's been dead for weeks or whatever and is partially decomposed, fine. But mummified? Doesn't that entail like somebody was trying to prep
her?
I think can you mummify outside of a mummy's wrappings?
I think it depends on the conditions of the home. I think if the temperatures, the climate, the humidity, whatever.
Is mummification a process of the body? I always thought it was the processing, like, when you mummified, like pharaohs back in the day, it was you taking all the organs out, you wrapping them in linens or whatever. And
I think that's the whole, but I think
that's crazy.
I think part of that is also I think you're talking about one process of the mummification.
It might be two definitions of the same word.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what we're going here. And like, I think when we say mummification, I think they're meaning to say rigor mortis. Maybe
that could be. It says, yes, it's possible to mummify yourself through I'm not going to even try that word.
Yeah.
Of course, this involves a process of aesthetic training and a strict diet. I don't think it's the same thing.
Yeah, I think they mean to say
It's like decomposition.
I think that's what they're rigor mortis. The, mummification is not probably the right term there. But anyway, it's all weird.
It's
regardless.
very
There's
odd.
some, and I don't know if it's just one of these. I hate to put it in this way, but Mr. Bean-esque series of just calamities that caused it, or something more sinister. I don't know.
What if? And again, pure speculation at this point. The views expressed by Sean Smalls do not reflect those of Pecos Valley Broadcasting and staff or management. What if, because of all of the increased seismic activity we've been seeing, because in both cases they were found to have seemed to have suffered a fall. What if the ground shook at the same time while he was in his mud room and she's off doing something in the East Wing or wherever she was?
Could be.
And the ground shook at the same time.
You never
know. They
know.
both took a tumble, and he's 95. I mean, I'm sorry, but when you're 95 years old, things tend to break when
I don't
you hit
think
the ground.
she's anywhere near his age.
No, she was younger, but
I'm going to say she's probably 20 to 30 years younger than him.
but she maybe fell onto some bullets. I don't know. Again, wild speculation.
And like I could plausibly, like maybe, like you said, the heater thing and all that,
Uh-huh.
like maybe something went on upstairs, the heater fell, caused a noise that killed her.
Yeah.
He heard it. Honey, what's going on? Went to go see, stumbled, fell,
Yep.
and I mean, that
It's
seems
good eno- it's-
far-fetched.
it's
but
good enough for a Lifetime
That's a
movie.
story.
Yeah.
That I could, if there's no foul play, that I could see. I mean, that's the thing. It's one of these things. It was just the right mixture of dumbness at the right time. It just created this.
Yeah.
And it could be that. And unfortunately, we live in a world where everything's nefarious until it's proven
Right.
not word. But so I don't know.
Now, I'm a big believer in Occam's razor.
Yeah.
If it looks like a duck, it's probably a duck.
Yeah.
So I'm going to keep an eye on all the the details that come out of all this.
Yeah.
But
I'm curious. But I ain't gonna lie. For them to start initially saying natural causes, and then by the end of the day saying, well, that does raise a lot of red flags.
and at the same time, it was kind of the same thing with the Michelle Trachtenberg death.
Yeah.
With them saying natural causes. I'm sorry. Generally speaking, natural causes don't occur at 39.
Yeah, needing a new liver at 39 is not natural.
That's not that's a natural consequence.
Yeah, it's not nefarious, but it's not natural.
Right.
It's
chaotic neutral.
It's a sad luck of the draw. Is
Yeah,
what that is.
absolutely.
Is what it is. So. There's a guy that way knows more about law than we do.
There
hanging out
is.
in the other room.
There's a man in this town, a man who carries a gun and a badge. Useless.
You gotta need to have the whip. But anyway,
tumbleweeds.
Charles East is undersheriff, going to join us here in just a bit. He's got lots of other things to talk about, but it is kind of a really.
We're working you up a theme tune in here. Useless.
I think he's going very much 70s with it.
Yeah.
But anyway,
With a little whip crack in there.
Yeah, it almost. You know what? We can get. We had the Roswell High Jazz Band. Some of them students in.
Yes.
And I know the one Dominic, the gentleman we talked to, was a big funk guy.
Oh, really? All right. So, but then you're talking about there's a man who carries a badge and a gun.
Yeah.
Justice is his middle name.
Useless.
His last name. Useless.
I wouldn't even go last name. Just Eastless.
Justice.
But anyway, Charles East is going to join us here in just a
That's
bit.
all we're trying to say.
But first, your weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Sunshine today, and we're headed for about 70 on the afternoon high. Overnight looks clear, upper 30s, and then we're in the low to mid 70s, fall high on Saturday and sunny. We do have a quick low pressure system moving through the area Saturday night, maybe a shower or two, and we'll drop to about 40 on the low. Back to sunshine on Sunday, and we'll hit the mid 70s. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 49 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 35%. Winds are out of the north at 5 miles per hour. Today, I can't complain. It's all good. Sunny, 72 today. Winds will be out of the south at around 5 miles per hour. It's Chamber of Commerce weather today. Tonight, partly cloudy. Overnight low of 37 degrees. South winds at around 5 miles per hour. Saturday, going to be a little warmer, sunny 74. Winds will be out of the north 5 to 10, shifting to the south later in the day. So another beautiful day tomorrow. Tomorrow night, clear, overnight low of 43, south winds 5 to 10. Sunday's going to get warmer, but it's going to get windier. So good with the bad on this one. 78 and sunny, but the winds will be out of the southwest 10 to 15 early, 20 to 25 by Sunday afternoon. Sunday night, clear, overnight low of 39, and then Monday, going to be warm, pushing 80, 78, 79 for a high. But they're talking areas of blowing dust and wind and that hot nonsense. So could see some of that on Monday. So be warned. But today, tomorrow, looking pretty sweet. All right, 9:16, let's do this. Let's take a quick 2.5-minute break, and then Charles Eastless, Undersheriff for the Sheriff's Department, will join us here on the other side. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Innovation, service, integrity, and knowledge. J.S. Ward and Son Insurance Agency. Auto and home, life and health, personal and commercial. Bonds too, since 1925. We have the coverage for you. Innovation, service, integrity, and knowledge. J.S. Ward and Son Insurance Agency.
Have you experienced the Valley Cafe yet? It's much more than lunch or dinner. It's an experience. Chef Anthony Noble is a nominated Chef of the Year and Manager with a 4.9 out of 5 kitchen cleanliness rating and a 4.8 out of 5 most love rating. It's time for you to experience the difference that so many others already have at the Valley Cafe. Visit for lunch or dinner at 801 West Brasher, the Orange Building across from Church on the Move in Roswell. And save the Valley Cafe in your contacts. 575-755-EATS. 575-755-3287. Don't forget, we can cater your event too, and a portion of our proceeds go to the Dream Center in Roswell.
In a medical emergency, every second counts. Artesia General Hospital's emergency department is open 24/7, staffed with highly trained professionals ready to provide life-saving care when you need it most. Don't wait. When minutes matter, trust Artesia General Hospital. Quality emergency care close to home. Learn more at artesiageneral.com.
Great news, Roswell. Your friends at Roswell Ford have the best relationship advice ever. Break up and do it right now.
Really?
Yes, break up with your old beater and upgrade for less during Ford Truck Month at Roswell Ford. Right now, everybody gets friends and family pricing on all new and quality pre-owned vehicles with up to $8,000 off MSRP on new Fords with 0 down, 0% APR for 72 months, and no payments for 90 days. Plus, we have a great selection of low-mileage, one-owner pre-owned vehicles in prime condition starting at just $10,000. Making payments on your current car, truck, or SUV and want out early? Roswell Ford wants to terminate your current lease or loan, even if you owe thousands more than it's worth. And our aggressive lenders will push to approve your credit, even if your credit is less than perfect. Huge savings, more for your trade, and a better buying experience. Get on board at Roswell Ford, 821 North Main Street in beautiful Roswell, or online at roswellford.com. 0 APR is $13.89 per thousand financed. Interest accrues from date of sale on select vehicles. Trade balance refinance to new loan. Subject to lender approval. Offers not combined.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. The ball on top of a flagpole is called a truck. Mess with your friends today by pointing at a flagpole and say, "Hey, check out the truck on top of that flagpole." Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 19 minutes after 9 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning, I think that's the one you need to turn on here. Undersheriff for the Chaves County Sheriff's Department, Charles Eastless, back with us.
How did we do
morning. That? Yeah, do the bell. It's on the wrist. There it is. There it is.
There it is.
Bill Williams, county manager. He's a master at the bell now. It took a few times, but now he's on bell. So maybe we can have a county class. We can teach all the county folks.
We need to. Good morning and happy Friday.
Yeah, happy Friday. Happy almost new month here of March, and I guess I'm going to get, not that you guys have busy, quiet seasons because it's always going on, but I'm going to take a stab that with the weather nicer, that means there's going to be more outdoors, which means you're probably going to have a busier weekend than maybe a colder weekend. But then it could go either way.
Month.
Yeah.
It's been a busier year.
As the weather's getting a little nicer.
Yeah. I don't think we had a winter. I really don't. We may have had a day.
We had a couple days where it was
had
freezing, but
winter days.
Yeah.
Exactly. But to be in, this coming next Monday, almost 80 degrees, and we already hit a 80 here and
Right,
there.
we already had one.
The weather is awesome. I'm a summer person. I love the summer. But with that brings the warmer weather brings more shenanigans. Let's put it that way. And,
well, especially if you're once it gets really hot and people get, it's like anything else. When your body's uncomfortable and your mental faculties aren't fully there, that's when generally police have to get more involved.
That's when depression will hit people and domestics and things like that.
And then you throw in drugs and alcohol in the mix, and that just adds to tenfold. And it's almost it's not a question of if, it's when it's going to happen.
Exactly. We've been working a lot of long hours, and in one of my posts that I put out, I was already thinking of Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Happy Thanksgiving. Oh, I mean Valentine's Day. Oops.
Right.
Well,
and that's the thing. You've been busy all week. Like believe it or not, just a couple days ago we were talking about a plane about maybe having a crash land, and fortunately that all worked out and it landed safely and all's good. But
it did.
That was a weird day, and that was just a couple days ago. But that feels like a month ago.
Exactly. So much has been happening. We had a accident this morning involving two semis that the deputies are currently still out on. And just so everyone knows, 285 North is currently shut down at Yakima. Traffic's being diverted down Yakima and northbound on
pretty
Old
bad
Dexter.
injuries and stuff? Or?
No,
good.
It appears that one semi was making a turn there near Crossroads.
Okay.
And another semi clipped the back of it.
Okay.
Of course,
so just an
forcing
inconvenience.
that semi over on its side. Yeah.
I don't. Not that these are all, not good. But,
sure.
But I that's just a fender bender.
But we hate
in the
to
big
see
scope of them. Yeah,
the
we don't.
deaths.
It's unfortunately when you hear about accidents on 285, 9 times out of 10. Serious injury or loss of life
and things like that.
Yeah, usually those factors are pretty common.
Yeah,
so I'm glad that's not the case.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just the driver of the flipped over semi was transported for minor injuries.
Gotcha. Well, you'll get some Band-Aids and bumps and bruises, and insurance will battle it out.
Yeah. It wasn't a TGIF for everybody this morning.
But, it's going to a bad day, but the big scope of things, he's going to have a Saturday, and that's right. That's the important thing.
Absolutely.
But but it's just been crazy like that, and obviously, to be honest, you guys still dealing with the impact of flooding and all that stuff. I mean, we're not dealing with rising waters, but you're still dealing with the impacts of it. People still displaced, people dealing with the debris, and and I'm sure that's probably caused a few squabbles that the sheriff's department had to come out and settle, and that we're still dealing with that world. So it's just a cocktail everything with
and it's going to go on for probably years.
Yeah.
We'll be dealing with it for years. And when I say we, not just the sheriff's office, but we as in the community are going to continue to deal with that, with the aftermath. People are still realizing certain things are gone that they hoped had survived the floods. And that's devastation. That's a devastating thing to lose, especially a picture of a family member or somebody that's no longer with you.
Things you can't replace.
Exactly.
The sentimental
that's right.
mementos. But then, we're in that point, too, where as we're peeling back the layers, okay, there was more damage here than we thought.
Absolutely.
Things that we thought were just cosmetic are now structural, and that's when, now you're finding those kinds of things out right now.
And in addition to that, we had, we didn't just have the cosmetic and the structural. Now you have emotional damage.
Absolutely.
That's one of the things that people, they drive by and they look at these buildings and everything. But remember, those buildings are owned or housed by somebody, and that it took a devastating turn for their future and their business, their livelihood, their homes. That's something that it's taken a real toll on people. It's caused a lot of depression.
Absolutely. Mental health is at an all-time low right now for our community. Just because of the world we live in at the moment. Really, it is. It's the environment and everything else.
30 years ago, it was, okay, this guy's acting weird, put him in jail for the weekend or whatever the case may be. But now, as time has progressed and as we have progressed in policing, in community policing, we've learned to deal more with the mental side of things, and it's not as simple as just throw them in jail. And it shouldn't be the catch-all of throw them in jail, because you're putting a Band-Aid on it at that particular moment and solving it for everyone around them. But they're going to be released. So let's look at the long term and let's see, how do we fix this person to stay in our community and not be a problem.
Let me ask your opinion on this, because this is something, and it, with the city and some of the things they're talking about with city councilors and some programs and things. I mean, directly but doesn't directly in the county. But I just want your thoughts on this, because people are sharing their opinions one way or another on the social medias about this, and I'm kind of an opinion on it too. But you're seeing where city councilors and things are trying to work a solution. We're saying, hey, instead of making our police officers be all they're there, but when it comes to a mental health situation, whether it's domestic violence or whatever it is, we have for lack of a better term, a response team.
Correct.
That would serve in those situations. So let the police officer do this health and safety, whatever, but let these folks determine whether this person needs specialized help or needs to go to jail or whatever needs to happen next. Just your thoughts. Is that, in your opinion, is that a good idea, bad idea, somewhere in between?
I think it holds good and bad, just like any other idea or anything else.
Yeah.
But I really agree with that, and maybe not in the capacity of an outside entity, but maybe train beyond what they're already trained, a few officers, and have a response team. I agree with the response team.
Sure.
But you have to keep in mind that whenever we deal with somebody, it's for minutes or hours.
Gotcha.
And we might not have the ability to
call this team out every time.
Right. It's going to become costly. But it is, in its concept, it is a very good idea.
Sure.
And now it's just learning to structure it so that it is effective and continues to be effective.
Would for it to work, would it almost have to be envisioned like a separate, you'd almost have to treat it like another police department and have its own dispatch, its own cars, its own officers or whatever. And basically they serve beats much like a cop, like a law enforcement would. And then when they say, okay, we got a thing here, is it like that, or am I thinking way too out of the box?
Well, I think what you're referring to is like creating a whole entity that just deals with that.
I'm just.
I hope that we don't get to the point where we can keep them busy 24/7,
sure,
like a regular responding agency. But I think if you take and uptrain officers, deputies,
sure, make it a division within the police department, much like SWAT or something else.
Exactly, and not just have uniforms show up, but have the doctors and things like that show up,
sure,
and the clinicians, have them show up to be able to talk to people. I don't know how many times I used to be the world's worst at wanting to talk, and everyone wants to talk over each other.
Absolutely.
Especially in this business. We're all type A personalities.
And then especially when people are heightened and want to get, they're coming to try to get your story to you.
Yes.
They can't wait to get it out. And
right.
they're
And so we have to learn to, in a conversation, it's 90% listening and 10% responding.
Sure.
And in this business, it's 99% listening. And the reason being is because if you don't stop and listen and hear what is going on or hear what the problem is, there's a solution to everything, but that solution doesn't apply to everything, you see? And so you have to find out, you have to first figure out what is the problem, what's going on, and then apply what is necessary to that. Sometimes it may be hands-on and go to jail. Sometimes it's just talking to somebody.
Sure.
And sometimes that's all they need is just to talk to somebody.
Absolutely.
And unfortunately, you have times when, and we've all had them at these agencies, where you have that one guy that shows up and you say, oh gosh,
sure,
that's going to go south. And they just don't have that.
Sure.
So I tell people, be a people person. You have to be a people person in a people person job.
And I think too,
and that's the key.
Absolutely. And I think, and this is where, and I think, if you kind of created a separate thing versus kind of more with internal.
Yes.
You also, because I could see where a problem might arise as you get into a situation, and then when you've got basically 3 people in charge at a scene.
Right.
You get conflicting orders, conflicting things. And I still, at the end of the day, would want, there's still, whatever it's the first officer on the scene or whomever that hierarchy is determined, that person needs to be say, at the end of the day, the buck stops with this person at this particular scene. And regardless of what the team of people thinks best, whatever this person says is going to happen is what happens.
It comes back to not what we as individuals or we as responding people think is best.
Right.
It's what's best for that person.
Sure.
Because that's the ultimate goal. And just like you said, I send a lot of training videos. Well, once a week or thereat, I'll send training videos out to my lieutenants and to the patrol because I want them to critique.
Mm-hmm.
We're not armchair quarterbacking what those officers did at that time. But we use that as a teaching tool.
How do you get better every time? You keep it's no different than football or anything else. You're watching your playbook.
Sure.
We did that wrong here. We need to do that better. It's no different here.
That's right. And the dynamics may be different because a lot of them are from other states or things like that. But the reality is I tell them, okay, listen to how the suspect doesn't know or the individual doesn't know what to do because you have one officer yelling at him, get on the ground.
Sure.
The other one yelling, let me see your hands. another one yelling, "Get out of the vehicle!"
Right.
And so,
and then you're
have
saying
to
he wasn't
formulate
compliant,
that.
and you're like,
right.
well, he
So
tried
you
to be.
have yes. So you have to formulate that real quick.
Yeah.
Contact, cover, and commands.
Yeah.
Things like that. Well, it goes back to the major scenes, like you said a while ago. The problem in this business is everybody wants to be in charge.
Mm-hmm.
And my outlook and my thoughts are, and I've told this time and time again, and as I've gotten older, and this is my 26th year and going into 27, you learn, and I am a big preacher of, I don't care what the patch says. I don't care what color the uniform is. My goal is, let's solve the problem. If you want the credit, so be it.
Sure.
We don't need the credit.
Right.
We want to help solve the problem.
Sure.
That's all that matters, because at the end of the day, we all live here. This is our community, not my community, not yours. It's our community.
And this is the part that
so egos need to be set aside.
Absolutely.
And let's get the job done.
And this is something I think we all need to understand in the big scope of things when we talk about law enforcement and police officers in particular, where that to the point you just said, you don't understand these police officers, and I don't care if it's a sheriff's deputy or RPD or state trooper or FBI or whatever it is.
Right.
They have a beat. They have a certain thing,
A district.
Now, an area. Now, if it's a patrol deputy, they literally have neighborhoods that they go to every single day. They see the same people. They visit the same businesses, the same, areas, just keeping an eye on
policing.
everything. And with that creates relationships.
That's
it creates
right.
trust. It creates. So when Charles or one of his deputies goes through that all sups every night and they come in and pop in and check on things, they know the clerk's in there, the customers are the regulars, and then they know Charles.
You know what belongs and what doesn't.
Yeah. And
what looks out of sorts.
And at the end of the day, that's how police work works.
That's it's
you
all
can
about
have the
being
fanciest
people
equipment.
person.
Yeah, you can have the fanciest
That's
equipment,
right.
the most high-tech thing, but it's about a cop's instinct and reading a room and understanding people and knowing when that's just normal, even though it's different.
That's
but
right.
it's normal. They're normal.
That's
then
right.
it's fine. Versus, no, I need to. There's something going on here, and we need to. We got a safety issue.
Most powerful weapon that you have is your voice.
Yeah.
Your voice and your mind. That is the most powerful weapon in this business that you have. Making the correct decisions, what you believe to be the correct decisions at that time, acting in good faith, and being able to talk to people. If you just listen to what they're saying, 9 times out of 10, they're telling you what the problem is.
Sure.
They may be telling you in a heightened voice. They may be telling you in an erratic state or a heightened state, but they're telling you what the problem is.
Sure.
And sometimes it's just, okay, let them vent.
Right.
If they're not being a danger to anyone around them or to themselves, give them that space. Let them talk.
Sure.
Just let them talk. What is it
Let
going to
them deflate,
do?
basically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because once you take that wind out of the sails, there's no more gas for them to want to do anything.
And here's the thing, because I've been the guy that's been irate and done it.
We all have.
And sometimes just saying it makes you feel better. It's like, look, I know there's no solution.
Yes.
But the fact I just needed to complain about it.
Right.
Now I feel a little more, I can now address, and so sometimes.
Somebody heard me.
A police officer, if you just shut up and let them vent, and then afterwards, like, now was all that necessary? Nah, you're probably right. It wasn't. But man, I was so mad. And next thing you know, all right, everybody going to be good tonight? Let's go home and call this good. Or no, we need to do something else.
Yes. First responders, we call them the Renaissance man. Renaissance, it means that you're jack of all trades.
Right.
Sometimes we're clergymen, sometimes we're counselors, sometimes we're police officers, sometimes we're mom and dad, sometimes we're brother or sister or whatever. But the reality is that what our goal is to make it a safe place for everyone to live and enjoy.
You want everyone to walk away
That's
night
right.
to go on to do whatever.
Some people need to go to jail.
Yes.
That's where they need to go.
Absolutely.
Some people need to go to prison, and the world is a better place with them there. But
And 9 times out of 10, the reason they're having to go is this other stuff. It's the mental health. It's the drug and alcohol. And that's something we do need as a country to work on. But it's more than just law enforcement.
Correct.
That goes to a higher level. We need to get the medical community. We need to get, I don't know what the solution is, whether, I know you use a word like an asylum, and that's not the term you want to use.
I think people start to think of locked away and dungeon.
But I feel like we do need some kinds of facilities to house and home and treat folks with severe mental health issues. And you don't have to do this. It ain't the 60s, 50s with the lobotomies and the padded rooms and the straitjackets. None of that nonsense.
Yes.
something that is a home. That,
You know-
that, you know.
Everyone knows that I'm a diehard conservative and a Second Amendment, which, by the way, tomorrow I officially take over as the new president for the Roswell Gun Club.
Oh, congratulations.
So I don't know.
Do you still have time to teach concealed carry? I know you were
Every
busy
now
with-
and then.
Okay, because
Yes,
Charles, when he's
yes.
not doing
Every
cop
now
stuff,
and then.
he does teach concealed carry classes.
Yes,
on occasion.
every now and then. But
Yeah.
so with those things, it's important that you know, we have to make sure that we're building all these jails.
Mm-hmm.
The reality is let's also build some mental health facilities, and the reason
Mm-hmm.
being is because we're only going to be able to house these folks so long in the jail. You have to remember, these people are going to get out.
Mm-hmm.
So if we've just put a Band-Aid on it and we've locked them away, that's great for our generation, but what are we leaving for our kids or our grandkids to deal with? And I'm arresting was arresting some of the same family members down the generation of the people I arrested when I started.
I guarantee if we come up with some kind of place where you have a true treatment facilities, places like that, I guarantee after a year or two, you're going to see your crime numbers go down. You're going to see a lot of numbers go down. And I guarantee. Now, I know it sounds like this magic bullet thing, and it's not, because what does this building look like? How does it work? I don't know. I really don't know.
Exactly. We don't have all the answers.
But I do know it's got to be something.
Right.
We can't do the status quo, because you can't throw people with mental health issues in jail.
Exactly.
It does not work.
That's
it does not work. It makes everything worse for either everybody else or the person.
Sure. You look at these third world countries where they used to or may still cut off the hand of a thief.
Yeah.
Well, you know, sure, if you see people running around with no hands, then they didn't learn the first time, right?
Right.
But the reality is that eventually you may have a whole half of a community without a hand.
Right.
Now you're putting those people to work. Let's talk about some rehabilitation. Let's talk about making sure that we, you know, there's nothing wrong with smacking the hand, but the reality is that what is it going to solve? So it's not always about, not everybody needs to be thrown on the ground and taken to jail. There are those that do, but what are we going to do with the folks that, if we don't get them any mental help, all we're doing is caging the problem.
You're putting the Band-Aid on it.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're kicking
exactly
the can
it.
down the curb to the next
That's
generation
exactly
to
it.
deal with.
And I'm a big firm believer, and as is the sheriff, you know, he and I, we back to back community policing. That's what the key is, because you can find out a lot about people, and they can find out a lot
And that's
about
always
you.
been Sheriff's day one when he took
Absolutely.
office. He said, you know, my deputies
Community
will be out
policing.
in the public. If there's a city community event going on, we will have
That's
a
right.
presence there just to hang out and to meet people
Absolutely.
and talk to people.
Just to visit.
And that's still true to this day. You go to a football
Absolutely.
game or a quinceañera or whatever. There's a sheriff's deputy usually nearby.
That's exactly right. And you know, one of the other things is that when it comes to community policing, our unwritten rule is, mine and the sheriff, you don't need an invitation, and you don't need you don't have to have an appointment, and you don't need an invitation to come and see us.
Yeah.
You can stop in any time. I may be in the middle of another meeting or something else, and I
have
hope
to wait
that
a
you
minute,
understand
but
that.
yes.
Sure. But you don't need an invitation, and you don't need an appointment to come and see us. We're not gonna stick all these barriers between you.
Now, if
Come
you got
visit
something
with
big
me.
and lengthy to talk about, maybe, you know, make an appointment. But,
Right.
But yeah, if you got something on your brain and that you need to get off, come on by the office.
If you want to come by and, you know, take a look around and
Sure.
see what your sheriff's office does, by all means, come by, fill out
Absolutely.
a ride-along form. We'd love to have you.
As a person that's got a chance to do it, I highly recommend
Yes.
it. I don't care if you've lived your entire life in this community. You will have a different perspective of it by spending one night with a law enforcement official. I will tell you right
Yes.
now, it's a different. And I've been here, almost 25 years now. And that night I was like, this is a whole part of Roswell I've never been into. Never
You do.
thought.
You see it.
I mean, I kind of knew it was there, but my butt was never going near it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And seeing it,
Pull in the
seeing-
sidewalks at 7:00. And
yeah, and just seeing, you know, what folks deal with on a day, it will change your perspective on
Absolutely.
on what a law enforcement official goes through on a nightly basis or a daily basis.
And one of the things that very, very proud of, and I'll sales pitch it again, is we've put together, I'm going to be launching a Citizens Police Academy.
Yeah.
And that's going to be coming up. We're working out the final logistics right now, and it'll probably occur on Saturdays 3
this
hours
is nothing
on
like
Saturday
the
mornings.
movies.
No, this isn't
'Cause I
Citizens on Patrol.
There's a bunch of people our age going with Bobcat,
Yeah.
Goldthwait, and all. Like, no, not
Yeah,
that.
that's a whole different movie. That's a whole different movie.
Steve Gutenberg is not involved in this.
No, not at all. Not at all.
We didn't get the Goot in.
That's right. That's right. But you'll be able to learn a lot about not just policing, but about your sheriff's office, the role of the sheriff, the obligations and the necessities of the sheriff, as well as your community.
Right.
What goes on in your community,
Sure.
and like you said, after hours.
Absolutely.
What goes on in your community? Because the final will be doing a ride along, not final as in grade, but one of the final classes will be to do a ride along for a couple hours with the deputy day or night, and to be able to actually see what we've just taught you, or you saw. Now it's how it's applied.
Sure.
And so that's the key.
And it's kind of neat too, like you mentioned, like the sheriff's deputies, like because for folks, if you don't realize, yes, you think of the state police, you think of city police, you think of county police. Yeah, they're all peace officers. They all can arrest and do everything.
Right.
But their kind of roles are different, and and things that sheriff's deputies do may not be the same thing that state troopers do, and vice versa. And it's just because of the role where the county is kind of that be all catch all. They're kind of everything, But obviously with city police, they deal with certain things. State police deal with certain stuff.
Exactly.
Obviously, if something like, say there's a shooting, officer-involved shooting, one of the other entities are always going to be the one. So usually 9 times out of 10, state police takes those over because it's usually the sheriff's deputies or RPD that's involved. And so they'll get an outside entity to do. But short of that, they kind of have their niches and roles. And so you learn all that kind of stuff.
Each agency has their responsibilities. Their ultimate responsibility is to serve and protect. But under that serve portion, you have your other areas of responsibility that you as an agency are, I don't like to use the term taxed with, but you are expected to do.
Sure.
Ours is civil process. We have the courts and we have the civil process.
Gotcha.
So we have
You got to man the buildings and making sure that the peace is being kept in the county administrative and all those different facilities. And
Yes, where other agencies they have
ain't sticking a state cop in the county courthouse.
Sure, and exactly, and they have what their ultimate responsibilities are to do, and so it's the state police they deal with the roundhouse.
Sure, but I'm saying conversely, you go to Santa Fe
like
and it's probably you won't see a county sheriff in there. It's going to be state police.
Roswell Police Department, they're dealing with accidents and they're dealing with a lot of things that happen. A lot of domestics happen within the city, and their call volumes.
A lot of times you get the fender benders and things. It's our city that's usually. I mean, unless it's out in the county, obviously. But if it's downtown, 9 times out of 10.
Yes. So the key is in this type of business or this type of job, my opinion is it doesn't matter what color the shirt is, as long as everybody's moving in the same direction.
And that's the end of the day, because
you have to either push or pull in the same direction in order to be successful.
Well, and it doesn't matter if they were in a state, city.
That's right.
When the danger's hitting, they're all running in the same direction.
Exactly.
Doing the same thing.
And that's the key.
That's what we're.
That's the most
about.
important thing.
Yep.
That's right.
And it doesn't matter. It's like, but wait, we're the county. Don't care. Get in there.
Yeah.
But wait, our job. No, they get out there and do it.
Doesn't
And this
matter.
is why. And you'll learn this on ride-alongs, is they serve outside of their jurisdictions. The Chavez County Sheriff's Department will spend a lot of time in Roosevelt County or whatever if there's an accident. Rural places where there's nobody within 100 miles of something.
Yes.
It's whoever can get there
Hill.
first. And sometimes it's a sheriff's deputy from Chavez County, not a Roosevelt County deputy.
Just like down in the Boot Hill, Otero will generally beat us to a call down there.
Yeah. Because
they're
right
exactly.
Exactly. Exactly. We get it's everybody scratching. I imagine if it's right on the Eddy County line, there's probably an Eddy County sheriff that can respond. If you're getting close to that, Lake Arthur area, sometimes it might be easier for an Artesia or Eddy County sheriff to respond.
All the time. And it's you see people forget about the color of uniform and what badge they have on when an officer is calling for help.
Yep.
And
I would imagine
it's sad that happens. It's great that happens, but at the same time, it's sad that that's the only time that it generally
because
happens.
every one of those people know where that officer's in right now, and they all have either been in there or that's their biggest fear, and so they're all beating cheeks to get there ASAP.
Exactly, and human nature is everyone's always going to try and outdo the one next to them or jump a little further, go a little, whatever the case may be.
You say cops are competitive?
Yeah,
no way.
But we don't have one type A personality.
No
not
way.
one.
No.
That's that catch-all. Not one. All. But, it's working. It's working together for the community.
Absolutely.
And that's the ultimate goal.
Sure. But that's also what makes everything great, and that's what makes humanity great. You get that, and the police department is that. You need your You need that guy to motivate the other one. And you also need
each one
the one that's
motivates the
less
other one.
to remind this one it's not all about the competition.
That's right.
And that's what
right.
makes beauty, and that's humanity.
That's right.
And that's what the police department is. It's humanity trying.
That's right.
And this is the thing. Yes, at the end of the day, are law enforcement officials there to keep the peace and keep
That's
the
right.
safety. But that they wear so many roles, and that's really that's the end game. Ultimate, nothing beats that role. Safety does not get compromised. But at the same time, that's not like 90% of the job has nothing to do with that.
That's right.
90% of the job is literally dealing with people, talking with people, solving problems, making people
Whether it's
feel
in the
better.
schools, whether it's
Now granted, it's all in the guise of safety, and this is why if there's an escalated situation, law enforcement is going to come in hot. They're going to come in hot until they know that no one's
There's
at
a
risk.
time to do business.
And then once they determine that there's no risk, I guarantee you're going to see everything go down. So I know this is hard to do, and I know because especially if you're in a situation, but if you ever find yourself in these situations where the cops come in, I'm just telling you, comply, and I'm telling you,
Just
it'll
listen
go
to the
easy.
commands.
And as soon as you do that, and they realize, okay, there's no serious threat. You're going to see tempers come down. You're going to see the adrenaline's going to slow down a little bit.
You have to remember those first responding officers or deputies.
Yeah.
Their goal and their job is scene security. They are to make sure that everything is safe and immediately neutralize any threat or anything that's going on.
And if dispatcher's unable to get good information from the scene because tempers are chaotic, those 911 calls, you hear them. They do an amazing job of getting information, but sometimes it's really hard to get.
And that's one entity that's often overlooked.
Yeah.
We talk about these agencies, RPD, the sheriff's office, state police, dispatch. I would not want their job.
No,
I've helped them out years ago.
They're the ducks in the water, man.
And they get phones are ringing off the hook. They're doing 3-4 different things at once.
And they got to be even keeled.
Exactly.
Because the moment they get excited, things get really bad.
And we're all human. We all have emotions, and it's sometimes you have that tone over the radio that why are they in a bad mood? Well, they're not in a bad mood. Or and so it's amazing. It's kind of like texting. I'm not a big fan of texting. Why? Because why are you mad at me?
Yeah.
I'm not mad at you, but you put that in bold, so that you would know that's important. You just don't get
Or like, I'm just really blind and I didn't mean to hit an
that wasn't
exclamation
around
mark.
in our era, right? So
exactly.
It was, I like old school telephone.
You're right. And you can, and that's just it. And this is something that, let's face it, as people that didn't grow up behind computer screens,
right?
You understand. But, that you can learn a lot more about a person by talking to them, seeing their reactions. You can find a liar out real easy face to face and over a phone.
Yes.
Because there's so many tells when a person lies, and it's all physical.
Yes. In our day, returning an email happened when you got back to work on Monday.
Yeah.
Calling you when you got home meant I'll call you when I get home. It's usually 8 or 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And a portable phone was the cordless around the house.
Yeah.
And then you'd get a little bit too far in the static.
Right. It's like, hold on, I get back to the base.
Exactly. So you don't, they don't know what it's like to go without
and this is that 5 megahertz one. I should get farther range than this. Yeah.
Yes.
All those
People
things.
say, where's your favorite camping spot? When I hear that I have no signal, that's it.
It's like
that's it.
A mountain with no towers.
That's right.
So, yeah.
Please. Yes.
But and so that's the thing you got to understand.
Yes.
And yes, technology is going to be a thing, but it never will replace what you see, what you experience, what your gut tells you, what your experience
can't
indications
be bought.
and things are. And this is why law enforcement is such a specialized, and why the training is there. It's and this is I've said it 1,000 times, and I'll say it one more because it hits there. When I did that ride along, you don't realize that the training is basically putting every single person that wears a badge has their head on a swivel 24/7.
Absolutely,
that's just part of the training, and it's not human nature to be like that. And
That's
even
right.
if you think you're observant, I guarantee, hang out with an officer, he'll tell you how observant, or she will tell you how observant you're not.
Watch two officers, no matter what agency they're from, watch them talking to each other out in public, standing up. You're going to look like they're doing a short dance because everyone wants to blade themselves and put their weapon aside, and that's just part of the job.
It's kind of, and I get that from
It's
the
muscle
military
memory.
stuff. But like when I was my military time, it's to this day I still don't walk around with a lot of crap in my right hand
Yes.
because I think I'm going to have to salute somebody. And I know I don't, and I never do, but I still instinctually don't carry stuff in that hand.
I had Reveille as a ringtone on my phone. And my dad, first time he heard it, he didn't know whether to stand. He was kind of like,
Wait
he
a
was in
minute,
the
yeah.
Army, and he's like, I said, oh, that's pretty neat, huh?
The other thing is, and I've broken this one because it's been a few years, but if I was outside at 5 o'clock, I'm like, uh-oh, I'd either get indoors or be prepared to do national anthem.
Yeah, you
but,
can hear Nimmy.
Yeah.
You can hear him
Yeah.
first thing in the morning. Beautiful sound.
You want to see nothing funnier. It's sad, but funny. Wait till about 4:57 on any military installation and just watch people run like cockroaches trying to get indoors before 5 o'clock national anthem.
Yeah, where you're at is where you're stuck.
Yeah, you stop and you stand and you wait until the national anthem. If you're in uniform, you salute and find a flag if you can. But but that's staple on every base. I don't care if it's Air Force, Army, Navy. If it's a military installation, 5 o'clock they do the national anthem and kind of shut down the day, so to speak.
And real quickly, all I wanted to do, well, two things, is this job and military.
Yeah.
Well, MEPS taught me real quick that flat feet doesn't work. So it was straight to this job.
Yeah.
Which there's nothing wrong with that, but I feel like I missed out on something that my other parts of my family, my dad, all my uncles served in the Marine Corps. My dad was in the U.S. Army. They all served in Vietnam, and so I feel like I missed out.
Yes and no. I mean, maybe because of the big picture of going to foreign lands and doing stuff, but I
like
guarantee
that camaraderie, though.
Your day-to-day job, you've probably seen way more action than the average veteran has seen in 30, 40 years of service.
Oh, yeah. It's always we always want to do more for not just our community, but for our country.
Sure.
And so this is the way to do that.
The part you missed out that I think that you probably captured a different way is that worldly thing. Like me going in as an early 20-something to go to see what life in Kuwait is like, or seeing what life in Italy's like.
On the government's dollar.
Yeah.
And
it was
your time, but
yeah, it to me, that was the experience that I can't that serves me well the rest of like to be honest, it makes me understand, that not everyone thinks and looks and acts like me.
Right.
Sometimes they're different. They come from different cultures and different things, and something that's very normal to me is very weird to somebody else.
Yes.
And vice versa. Yeah. And we all live in that
normal
world.
Normal to us, normal to them.
And just because something's weird to you doesn't make it weird.
Right.
And that teaches me that lesson. Like, I ain't gonna lie. I was doing like TCN doing, these guys are washing their feet in the sink. I'm like, like, there's a shower right there. Go to the shower. Yeah. But it's not my culture. That's not my thing. To me, I look at it like, that's nasty. I brush my teeth in that thing.
Yes. Yeah. And and exactly. And I tell people, they say, oh, military life. And I say, I give them full respect and everything. I was raised in a military household, and my dad was also a principal after that. So I either got SWATs or had to run a lap, one of the two.
So you got the discipline regardless if you didn't have to sign up with Uncle Sam.
Either way, yeah, sure. Either way. Real quick story. It's probably TMI, but real quick story when you're talking about these folks washing their feet in the sink. The sheriff's probably cringing right now, but we were traveling, going to the Western State Sheriff's Conference.
Yes, in Nevada, right?
Yes, yes. We go to Reno, and that's coming up in another 2 weeks.
Yes.
But a couple years back, we were traveling through, and we stopped at a place between Las Vegas and Reno.
Okay.
Well, it was like a little truck stop /
just a diner type
parlor / all these different things.
Like a Stuckey's, but like a ghetto version or something. Yeah,
kind of. And so the sheriff is in there, and I had already gone to the restroom. He's in there, and he's washing his hands and everything in the sink. And I told him, I said, hey. And he says, yeah. I said, look at the sign. So he looks up, and it says, please do not wash body parts in the sink. and the look on his face, and he became a surgeon because he does this.
Right.
What do I do with them? I said, I don't know.
Well, technically, hands are a body part.
Right? Yeah, exactly. And we started kind of deducing this, saying, well, maybe they just put that up. No, there has to be a reason.
Right.
Policies were created because somebody did it.
Somebody put body parts in the sink that weren't supposed to be part.
Exactly.
The question is, what part is it?
You see all kinds of things when you're traveling. So I totally understand where you're coming from. But
it kind of, and that taught me. That was that firsthand experience. It says, it's kind of. It guided me that worldly thing. And so that would be the one part, but
experiences that you can't will or give away.
Yeah.
And they can't take from you.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah, absolutely. We're running out of time, but
Not a problem.
Real quick, recruitment. I know you're
Yes,
always looking
we still
for
have 4 positions available, and we are actively seeking to fill those. If you're interested in becoming a Travis County Sheriff's Deputy, we do a lateral program. If you're not certified, we will send you to the academy. Applications are now done online at the Travis County website. Just go to the Travis County website, go over to the right-hand side under jobs, click on that. It'll show you the list of jobs that are available at the county. Deputy Sheriff is on there. Click on that. You fill it out online. It's emailed automatically to HR. They, in turn, will contact you. They forward that to us. I will take a look at it, and one of my lieutenants will contact you, and we'll get the ball
you ready
rolling.
for academy. If they
Yes,
accept you.
yes. It's you have a physical fitness portion where it's a mile and a half in 15:14. It's a 300-meter in
And
under
if you
71
can't do it yet,
seconds.
they'll make sure you can by the time you go to the academy.
Absolutely, yes. And let me tell you, if you're right at that point or you're a little bit over, that's not a cutting point, okay? For years, that was a cutting point. But the reality is we make time for you to work out between the time you're hired and the time you go to the academy. So we ensure that you will pass that whenever it comes time.
We'll get you there regardless.
Yeah, and let me tell you, those cadets, they motivate us. I've lost some weight doing that, and I worked out with the last group, and it's a lot of fun.
And as we get older, we start relying on our instincts and less on our physical skills.
Yes.
And then we realize our instincts ain't getting us everywhere.
That's right. Yeah. Neither are our physical skills.
You're like, man, I sure wish I had a knee now.
Yes, absolutely. When it takes you longer to get out of bed than it does to do anything else, that's and it's just
because up here you got it until you start doing it.
Let me tell you,
no.
when the fight starts up here, I'm 25.
You're Jackie
In here,
Chan.
I'm 18. Right. But overall, I'm 51, and I'm
once
immediately
the fist
I'm like,
to the face hits, you're like, oh, I'm not Jackie Chan.
Yeah, I'm that guy. Come on.
Yeah.
And then I'm holding on like that. I hope this ends quick.
Yeah. Yep.
And then it's the whole ibuprofen for the next week and a half, 2
Exactly.
weeks. Like Pez candies. But yes, so it's that. You have a written test, which is language arts, and spelling and things like that. And then after that, you have the interview. With the lieutenants, the interview board. After that, they'll do your background check. Once that is completed, if everything comes back okay, then you'll have the sheriff's interview with the sheriff and I. And once that's completed, send it down the hall.
Start the process.
Absolutely.
And then we get your
it
training.
It sounds
and
like
go.
a lot, but it's not when you're talking about doing this job.
It is. But here's the thing too. And man, just all the time we got to go. But
no problem.
There's so much because you have so much responsibility and so much as a law enforcement officer. When they put you out in the field on your own, so to speak, you're going to have so much training, so much. That's what makes a law enforcement officer able to do.
It'll make your hair fall out.
It's the confidence they get from the training.
Right.
You're going to get your butt kicked and fail a few times at the academy, but it's going to make you a better officer when you're out on the
Absolutely.
beat.
Absolutely.
So it's a good thing. It'll make you a better human being, and sometimes putting yourself out of your comfort zone makes you a better human.
That's right.
I'm going to say you're going to do things that will challenge you. Absolutely. But when you come out on the other side, you're going to be better for it, and you're going to be happy you did it.
Nervousness is a form of fear.
Yep.
And two things will cause a man to do things or a woman to do things that they didn't think they were capable of or that you didn't think they were capable of. And that's fear and anger.
Yep.
And so we want to use the fear side a little bit, and that motivates you. You have to live as though somebody is always on your heels.
Absolutely.
And when you're resting, you have to think somebody else is working.
Because the moment they stop is when they get hurt or die or something.
Oh yeah. Back on my business card says, in the words of Bob Marley, those that are trying to make the world a bad place aren't taking the day off, so why should I?
Yep.
Right?
You ain't wrong.
That's exactly it.
So, Charles, as always,
thank you.
Anytime. Appreciate it. We'll see you here next time. And
Absolutely.
Folks, go to the website if you're interested. And of course, if you have any questions or anything, or if you want more about the Citizens Academy,
give us a call.
Call or come by the
department. We'll be launching that very soon, and there'll be information out. It's going to be a limited space, 20. It is nothing. There is no particular rhyme or reason as to why you will or will not be in the first one or the third one. We just have to get through. Of course, there'll be a small background check.
Evolves a
and
little
things
bit.
Like that.
You'll kind of add and subtract as needed, depending on how the program,
Sure.
As it finds
it's evolving.
Yeah, as it finds its direction,
That's right.
It finds its niche.
That's
it'll
right.
kind of do that.
But it's something that I'm very proud of, and it took a while to build, and I did gather from here and there and kind of curtail to make it fit us. And so,
well, and it's all, again, back to that thing we talked
Yes.
at the beginning, the understanding relationship between law enforcement and the public.
Yes.
This is another
Building
thing
that bridge.
that connects that gap a little.
That's exactly right.
Or shortens that gap a little bit.
If you know of a crime or a crime that has been or is being committed, contact us, 624-6500. If you're interested in becoming a Chaves County Sheriff's Deputy, go online, chavezcounty.com. Again, thank you for having me.
Anytime.
God bless America. God bless Chaves County. And
You and all the deputies
God bless.
stay safe out there. And if I don't see you between now and your trip to Reno, you and Sheriff, safe travels there.
I think I'll be in next week, towards the later part of end of next week.
Yes.
And then we will be leaving the next morning.
Nice. Very good. Now, off to Reno.
Yes.
Y'all get time to play. It is Reno. I mean,
Well,
you a gambling man?
Yes. And so we leave on Saturday morning. Halfway there is Las Vegas.
Nice.
Darn the luck. So we stay in Las Vegas and then drive the rest of the way to Reno on Sunday. Stay there for a week and then.
Well, if the deputy vehicle comes back with less rims and stuff, you know, they got beat up in Vegas. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, or it's on blocks. You know, it got stolen in Vegas.
It got beat up in Vegas. Yeah,
that's right.
The tables weren't kind to the sheriff of the day.
No, they weren't. Absolutely not.
Funny. Just kidding, of course. Yeah. But, thank you as always, Charles.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time. All right, it's 10:01 actually. We got to go. Have an amazing weekend. You're listening to 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico.
Mike Gallagher, I've been thinking, why does it feel like losing weight is harder than ever before? With mixed messages, fad diets, the quick fix injections, even magic coffee. I mean, it's overwhelming. Most of us are exhausted trying to fight a battle they can't win, right? If you feel this way, don't worry, you're not alone. I used to feel that way, but let me tell you, it's not your fault. Your body is working against you. The longer you wait, the harder it gets. I want you to do what I did. I called PhD Weight Loss and Nutrition 3 years ago. I lost 53 pounds. I feel tremendous. I've kept the weight off, too. Call 864-502-1777. Make the phone call that can change your life the way it has changed mine. They won't let you fail. Call 864-502-1777. That's 864-502-1777 to schedule your consultation. The first 11 callers who mention healthy will get 2 free weeks added to their weight loss package. Call now, 864-502-1777. Mention healthy to get 2 free weeks or visit them at myphdweightloss.com.
Designated an area to conduct shooting drills off the island's southwest coast. Republican South Carolina Senator Tim Scott says it's very important that Congress help President Trump to stave off the threat posed by China's global ambitions.
We should all be concerned about the existential threat that is China, economically and from a military perspective. There's no doubt that a country that lies, cheats, and steals our intellectual property is stealing a part of the future.
Senator Scott was interviewed on the Salem Radio Network. Protesters in Athens hurling gasoline bombs as they battled with police during mass demonstrations earlier today to mark the second anniversary of a devastating train crash. It has become a symbol of institutional failure throughout Greece. Breaking news and analysis, townhall.com. It was, to say the least, a mixed end of the year for the U.S. economy. George Williams has more.
The Commerce Department reports U.S. gross domestic product grew at a 2.3% annual rate during the last quarter of 2024. At the same time, GDP slowed 0.8% from last year's third quarter. For the year 2024, the U.S. economy grew at a 2.8% rate, down 0.1% year over year. Inflationary pressure remains. The Fed's preferred gauge, the Personal Consumption Expenditures Index, or PCE, rose at a 2.4% annual pace last quarter, above the Fed's 2% target. George Williams reporting.
On Wall Street at this hour, Dow Industrials ahead 190 points. NASDAQ is up 103. S&P has gained 21 points.